Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of Introducing Sorcery, the latest wonder of the universe, of the world. It's crazy out there.
I always make a strange motion when the stream starts, just to make sure that you know that the stream has started.
You're like, hey, this should be happening. Yeah. I remember the old joke when we used to do mostly produced videos. You'd be like, I just don't know what to do when you're introducing stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went back and watched, and like you're just like being very awkward about it. If you're somehow unaware, this is the Sorcery TCG. It's 2022. We're on March 30th. And people always are like, why is he looking at his watch to see what the date is? Because the date's on my watch, by the way.
That's genius.
I saw that comment coming yesterday. I forgot to mention it. Anyways, this game is currently on Kickstarter, and this is part 3. Probably not the best place to start, but you can hang out anyway. You're welcome to be here.
It actually may be the best place to start for some
I
of
got
you,
bamboozled.
particularly those watching us later here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick this off with, should you be playing the Sorcery TCG, not as a dictate, but as a set of considerations for you to make based on the very early plays that we did of Sorcery, now the refined plays that we've done here on the stream the past couple of weeks. We feel empowered to at least give you food for thought as to whether or not you should be buying in and expecting to play this game, at least the first set, maybe others. So that is what we're going to be doing at the top of the hour. And then after that, we're going to dive into something we have not done with Sorcery as kind of the final piece of this 3-part series. And we're going to be taking the pre-con decks, and Zach's going to be combining Earth and Fire.
That's right.
I'll be combining Water and Wind. And so we will actually dive into on stream the deck building process, our first attempt at it, usually a comic attempt whenever we first try to deck build for a game before you really know what you're trying to do. And we're going to see how that plays, then probably play a match to finish it off. So it should be a good stream.
In my experience, so often deck building, especially for an expandable card game, is where the game really comes alive. So I've been really looking forward to this, because I've already had such a good experience with the game.
Yeah.
Just playing with precons, which is not common. We play a lot of those throwback. So this has throwback vibes. One place that's not like a throwback is Terrible Starters.
Yeah. No. Oh, man. We've had some stinkers. And you know what? Some people, I haven't even seen this comment, but I'm sure there's probably a thought out there of like, there's a lot of times during the game we're referencing the rulebook. We're looking up what does stealth do, what does airborne do, etc. And I actually missed last week airborne. You can move diagonally. Nuts. That's incredible. But I just want to kind of clear the air around that. That can be an extremely enjoyable part of the experience. Like when we're deep into Star Wars CCG or Lord of the Rings, and it's like, hey, can you look up this rule? What does this do? And you'll see here on the screen we've got some new keyword pops for everybody to help you follow along when we are actually looking at those rules.
Look at you guys go.
But we do really, sometimes it's really nice. It gives you a sense that there's just a lot of depth and mystery behind the veil of the game that you kind of go through your old tome, to find out what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to resolve something. It reminds me of always playing like role-playing games where I'm like looking through like, hey, what does this trait do, or what does this stat do?
It's half the allure, right?
Yeah, so I just think it can be really fun, or it can be really tedious. And so far for us, Sorcery has been able to thread the needle on making it fun and nice to be a part of the experience rather than being put off by it. So you want to dive into should we play Sorcery?
Is it should we or who should?
Yeah, I don't know.
Both?
Who should? Should we? Are you the who that should play?
That's like a Grinch thing, right?
Let's kick it off with number one. Yeah,
what are people
it's a
called?
famous band, I think.
The
Yeah, the Who's Who stole Whoville or lived in Whoville.
Yeah. Who do you think should play this game?
Why should you play this game? So let's start. Number one, I'll be the person who's giving you. I'm going to start with a non-gameplay.
We doing like a draft here? You get the first choice, I get the second one.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, we'll go back and forth till someone
so
can't draft.
We'll start with a non-gameplay reason to play this game, which for me actually tells you a lot about who should be playing it. If you are really into the classic, traditional art style of Sorcery, I think this may well be the best it has ever been done. Many early games stumbled into the way that Sorcery looks because they were using certain artists at the time, and it was a matter of just budget and or just who was available. But I think Sorcery coming into this and saying we have a very strict intention to produce this kind of art style and this kind of approach to the art in the game, to do it the traditional way, to give it that kind of vibe, and to work with all the greatest artists along the way who were able to make that happen for those older games that they're known
who's
for.
Who of artists?
It's unbelievable. So like the gameplay, which we can talk about, of course, is important for any game to be played, but strictly you could honestly just collect this game as we used to do when we were children and just stare at it. It's that good, and it enlivens the imagination. It enlivens this sense of exploration and deep wonder. And it's just an homage to great art in this particular genre. I can't say enough good things about it. So if you're at all the kind of person who really digs theme and art and immersion in your games, even almost as a primary concern over what's happening on the table, this is it. I mean, you're either going to go backwards or you're going to go here. That's the only place that those kinds of things exist right now.
A couple examples, because all the art in this game obviously hand painted. It's one of the key features of this. But I pulled a couple of random locations that I think illustrate something that's really cool. So like Stonehenge is one of the cards, and this is just like a beautiful painting, right? It's not like trying to be epic or crazy. It's just like a beautiful moment captured in art. But one thing I really like is this Vesuvius. As like a showcase of there are different styles of art happening here.
Yeah.
And we did an interview on the podcast with Eric of Eric's Curiosa, and he was saying that one of the things they do on the art prompts is it's very minimal, right? They're just like, I imagine the Stonehenge was like Stonehenge with a beautiful background. Like,
a very loose instruction on the
do
art.
what you want to do. But somehow it all works, and it could be nostalgic for me, just those old games I've played that didn't have like a super defined art style. It has to be this way. Outside of the one connecting element, which is all of these pieces of art have been done in the flesh,
in
right?
a traditional medium,
They were done physically and not digitally, which obviously produces a very specific kind of art. So my pick.
Yeah, bring it on.
My number one pick is the mechanics, in particular the moxie of the mechanics here in this game. And it reminds me of old games that I used to play. It's the Star Wars CCG vibe, where there's this epic scale. It's doing things that most games I think would be afraid to do.
Yeah.
Just mechanically speaking. I'm trying to find the card that's a really good example. So I think it was in my deck last week. Now this particular card, actually, do you have that egg?
Yeah,
this is a perfect example.
So it's the devil's egg.
The devil's egg. This is a perfect example of what this game's willing to do that I don't think a lot of games would. So you have this grid, right? It's 4 by 5, so 5 wide, 4 tall, and you're facing off against your opponent. But this devil's egg, 3 cost, no threshold requirement, so any element could play it. At the start of your turn, the controller of the site this egg is on loses 2 life. So it's kind of like hot potato.
So
it's a relic, so you can play it at a site you control, or wherever your avatars are, or a minion. And you can play it attached or just sitting on the location. But presumably, you have a minion that's been around, so it can move. You put the devil egg on it, and then you move the minion onto one of your opponent's locations. If your opponent defeats that, it's called minion.
Minion.
Minion. Any relics that are held by something defeated just drop to their location. So this falls into that location. And then technically they can like pick it up, but they're going to have to go pick it up. And if they don't have the actions to move it back to the other side yet. So you get into all kinds of fun stuff with this. Like what's the name of do you know the unit that
like
can...
Polar Bears or Polar Explorers? Polar Bears is a good example, yeah.
So I hadn't seen this card till right before this stream, and Steve was like, "This is crazy." I was like, "Oh, imagine if you had those characters. What was the Polar Explorers or something?"
Yeah, so the bears can move between sides of the top and bottom as well.
Okay.
That's a common polar mechanic in the game.
So the ability to basically orbit the Earth, right, and go from one pole to the other. You can imagine you play the hot potato, you swap over to their back row. And then they defeat your unit, and it's just sitting there. And
or you can just dunk it. You can drop it and then move the bears back.
Yeah,
just special delivery.
Yeah, totally. So that's just the kind of thing that mechanically, in a like super balanced, competitive kind of environment, this would drive me crazy, right? Like if I was going to like a world championship, this is like too out there for me personally. But if you're the kind of person that likes a story to unfold on the table and crazy things to happen, and then like this is an elite card. So you see in that the tagline it says an elite relic. I think it means you can only have 2 in your deck. Mm-hmm. And so there are cards in these decks, we've played them, I haven't seen until I was sorting them.
Yeah.
So it's not, you can't have so many copies that it's super consistent, but just these crazy moments that happen in various games that you just can't forget, like my snakes getting drowned in that one game, right?
Yeah.
It's like the fact that I can say that sentence. I had snakes, they were underground, that Steven turned like flooded, and then the snakes drowned in the water. Very memorable. So if you lean towards that versus like grinded, optimized, well-practiced, well-rehearsed patterns of play, not that that's not there. I think people get really good at this game.
Sure.
And you'll learn to deal where it's like, well, I haven't seen this yet, or I only have 2 fire resources out. So like I have to play in a certain way, and people will get really good at this. No doubt that will happen. But if theme and like theme being executed through the mechanics and how it functions and how it feels, even you have a site, you burrow something that goes under,
mm-hmm.
you have something on top of it, you have the body of water with all those kind of like bigger concepts. You don't see that a lot these days. So if you like that out of a modern TCG, this might be the game for you.
All right, I'll piggyback on that a little bit. What you're talking about is essentially, and this is what Joe Sola says, the pairing of theme and mechanics. But I think that's an important point, and that's something that a lot of games do really well, right? Flesh and Blood does that really well. The theme and the mechanics are very nicely unified, and that you feel like you're in a battle, a one-on-one battle, that you're trading blows back and forth. Most modern games are going to do that really well. Most good modern games are going to do that really well. Most of the ones you'll hear about from us. But what I would frame this as is, so like if you're thinking about telling your experience with the game to somebody, I think this is the kind of game where you're going to share stories. I could put this on the side of the box. You're going to share stories instead of deck lists.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, it's over.
Print it.
Can I leave
Put it
yet?
in the magazine ad.
So yeah, put it in the ad. Share stories instead of deck lists. This is the whole thing. This is my number one thing I think now that I would pitch to anybody curious about the game is like, I think when you're on a Discord channel, you're talking in the Sorcery TCG part of that, channel of that, or you're on the Sorcery main Discord, or you're talking to your friends, or you're at a convention and you're playing Sorcery and you're like, dude, yeah, let's talk about Sorcery. You're having lunch with your Sorcery group. I think the vast majority of people are going to be talking about talking about awesome things that happened in a game of Sorcery, rather than, hey, what's your like optimized win deck list? Like, I just think it's going to be more of the, like, you won't believe what happened last night.
I mean, even picture your Devil's Egg deck list.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 Devil's Eggs, right? And it's like, my goal is to drop that thing off on my opponent as quickly as possible across the board. And then I have a bunch of things that just, like, can go to any location or transport stuff, or, like, just really ways to bury it back at the back of their board every time. Man. And, like, you know, it may not win every game, but, like, it's just going to be hilarious that you have this hot potato moment. And if that's the game you like to play, you can force that game to happen.
And that moment, Wrath of Sea, you know, it's like, well, I had that last game we had with Wind Avatar was like running, and I drew the pixies, and like, it was just like buying me a turn. And then I drew into that thunderstorm, and at the last second, a 1 on Death's Door. Like, that, I think, is the dialogue around this game.
Yeah.
As Obsidian here in the chat is saying, that's so similar to Star Wars CCG, share stories instead of deck lists. 100%, man.
And I think
100%.
in the Star Wars CCG, of course, one of the downsides, upsides and downsides, if you were kind of agreeing to play in the same way, you could create some phenomenal stories. Like our Battle of Hoth is really notable in our throwback series to me. I remember that distinctly.
Yeah.
But sometimes you could play next to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing this game does well is it captures the granularity and the epicness of Star Wars CCG without seeming like you can actually just play separate games.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
the interaction is forced. That's the plane of the game, for sure.
Well, hey, that's a pretty good one. So,
you got anything else?
Oh yeah, my next big one, I think that's yours.
Oh right.
Is the essentially the release model. I think one of the crazier things about this game is it's all hand painted art, of course, but to make that feasible, the game's going to come out slower. So instead of a set every 3 or 4 months like you'd expect from a traditional CCG, this is currently, I think, about once a year is what they keep saying. So the release model is going to be slower. The way the rarity system breaks down, I think, means that having play sets of all the most important cards is way less relevant. I have a feeling that because like the unique cards, you can only play one of in your deck. And so, the rarest cards in the game, you only need one of, which is good. We like that in Fab too, with the legendaries and stuff. But even beyond that, because it's not like a piece of equipment that starts the game in play. Mm-hmm. It's just a random card in your 40-card deck. There's going to be so many games where you don't see that card. So what that means is that, that just changes the way you have to approach the game and the way you have to play. You can't bank on, part of going through the competing, the games of sport thing with Fab right now. And like, you're trying to make the deck be consistent. Mm-hmm. And there's only so much consistency offered in a game like this. But yeah, the release model and the way the deck building is structured and stuff, I think slants way heavier towards people that enjoy like sealed and draft, people that enjoy what you call kitchen table style play, where, maybe you just like as a kid, this is how I grew up on all the games we played. I didn't even get a box of Pokemon. It's like I would get 8 packs when I got 8 random packs.
Yeah, when you got to vintage stock or whatever. Yeah, and it's like Mom, please.
Nothing's hyper efficient. And like sometimes, you draw the Charmander and the Charmeleon and the Charizard, and you can make it happen.
Do you remember? Can you really go back though and remember? So my dad used to come home. This is such a charming thing, and it's very much it was such an advantage. I had such a good family, honestly. But Dad had this thing he called Friday night surprises. So like
that's cool.
Isn't that amazing? So he'd get off work on Friday, and he'd try to come home earlier than usual because he was a lot of times working late at the newspaper. So he'd come home on like Friday or Saturday, and sometimes Saturday morning, and it would just be a random. And he's into collectibles and fantasy stuff and like all that. So it'd be a random like something cool, and a lot of times it was like 3 Pokemon TCG packs.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, Dad's home, and there's like behind the back, like choose a hand.
That's really fun.
Like, and I was like, and just like you remember how insanely awesome it was just for a pack of cards or a box of little Mage Knight miniatures or whatever. Yeah. It was just like, it was the coolest thing. So my hope is that like with Fab Versus, we've been opening those boxes, getting that collection built to then build decks and compete and have all the tools that we need to access. But this feeling of like just getting like, hey, here's 4 sorcery packs and maybe there's half the set we don't have yet. And it's like, what could be in here? Sounds like a really great moment to bring back into my life.
Yeah, so I think that release model is just very different, and I think that's going to be really appealing for some people and really not appealing for people that want new sets every 3 or 4 months. Right? It's a different pocket.
And as Jeff's saying, they're trying to do 2 sets a year is what they're hoping to.
Is that
do.
Confirmed?
I have not. People were talking.
I have not heard that one time.
People were talking.
That's possible. It's still in the Kickstarter, so things are going to change. But I know it's slower. It's supposed to be slower paced than. Yeah. I think not even supposed to. I think it's forced to be slower paced.
All right, so here's my last thing that I would say, and then I think we'll do a kind of a taking these things and applying them backwards to why you might not want to play this game. So my last thing, at least, is a publisher not obsessed with official organized play, not obsessed with tournaments, not obsessed with judges, no tournament rules. I don't even care if there's comprehensive rules for this game, to be honest with you. I don't care.
Usually that's a document that really clarifies the minutia.
Nice. In like the paperclip in Microsoft Word.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that we could have a pop for to explain to people.
Yeah, what random concept.
No, I'm just saying in general, it's like comprehensive rules, right? It's like, well, what's a comprehensive rule? You could have.
Dang, we're going to have to form our own dictionary. But anyway, so there's an assumption that comes in with any game really past Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon established their dominance that like, okay, the way to success, you got to have this strong organized play circuit. You've got to have tournaments in stores. You've got to have support. You've got to have kits. You've got to have pre-releases. Exactly.
World championships.
I love that because that's not how it started. And a lot of the greatest moments in these games were well outside of that framework. And so I'm not opposed to those kinds of things existing. I think it's great anytime you can give robust support for people who want to play in an organized way, even if they want to play in a very competitive way. But a publisher can only focus on so many things, and many would argue only one thing. You can really only focus on one thing. Yeah, so like it's too easy for people to get distracted hiring people or pushing their focus to working with 17,000 different retailers and making sure kits go out and nobody's scalping and the map is, like all this stuff that has to be managed whenever you go down that route. And it's really refreshing for me to say, like, no, we're focused, like, not on that. And that's a huge benefit for me. And if that's something that sounds appealing to you, not having all that discussion and thinking about tournament play and competitive events and getting all your prizes through that and all that, if that's appealing, then that might be a great reason to play Sorcery as well.
Yeah. My final point.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty more, but my final major point I'm thinking of is if you have played a lot of card games and you're looking for something very fresh and different, mechanically speaking, this game is doing things that are very different. I think the grid reminds me a little bit of Summoner Wars, but in a different kind of way. There's more to it than I think just Summoner Wars was doing.
Yeah, because you're building it as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The resource mechanic is very clever. You have a separate resource deck that you're also building the map as you go. So the terrain gets redefined every time. But I think if you either like or have never explored positional-based card games, this is a great first one to check out specifically, because I think it's doing some very fun and interesting things that I haven't seen in other games.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I don't know why. All right, so if you're maybe not interested in playing this game, what are your priorities? So let's talk about that. So it's kind of the reverse of what we've been saying. So obviously, if none of the stuff that we've been saying is appealing, you probably wouldn't dig it. But if you're looking for very robust tournament play with tweaked deck lists, we're talking like one of switch out here and there. If you're talking about, pro tours and big events and money prizes and these kinds of things, which like Flesh and Blood is great at that. Magic has or had their pro tour circuit. Most of the major big three titles are going to have tons of opportunities to compete and to prove yourself and to have this kind of online persona if you'd like. I don't think Sorcery is that. I think you're just totally not going to find that. So if you're coming into the Sorcery Discord saying like, when is the first big tournament going to be? And what's going to be the prizes on the line? I think you kind of already missed the vote.
Now, there may well be tournaments, and there may well be people hosting tournaments, and I'm sure there will be. But I think the emphasis and the focus is not on that. I also think if you play a lot, and you're looking for, active infusions to the card pool and things changing, active organized play scenes, all that kind of stuff, the pacing of this probably is not your jam. If you don't like TCGs in general, this one might actually get away with it because it's so slow-paced and different for people that historically don't like TCGs. I know it can be a lot to keep up with. It can be very expensive, but interestingly, I would be curious after the game comes out to have like a constructed deck using a full collection versus even these precons. And to see what that looks like. A game like Flesh and Blood, it would be not good. Mm-hmm. It would be a massacre, probably, I think. But just the reality of how little is required to play the game. Like, I think it's the kind of game, this is maybe something I should have mentioned on the previous list, but like, you could pick up one box of and probably have a tremendous time playing this game. Not every game you can buy one box of and then like go play and have a great time with people.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. Oh my gosh, we got the moment. Now this is about to be...
All right.
Desperado, baby.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers to Rafe, to Ops.
To all of you. Thank you.
To all of you. To Store 3.0.
That's
we will
right.
get there. This is going to be now the greatest experience I've had with Sorcery.
Yeah. We haven't done Sorcery on a Wednesday yet, but every other Wednesday we're testing cocktails because we've been working for a very long time towards what we're calling 3.0, the third iteration of our local store. And in that store, we're planning on having cocktails, which will be a fun part of it. But
so we got to practice.
Training and practicing, and we're taste testing and all that kind of stuff.
I want to pause for a second here on this. Starry Night asking, I think, a really important question. Are you guys paid in any way to talk about this game? We are not. Let me tell you the nuts and bolts of how this works for us. So there's a number of games that come out each year, a lot of them. And we keep our ear to the ground, keep our eyes open, look for all the things that are releasing, look at the reputation of the publisher, how we worked with them before, do we know anybody involved? Like Andrew Navarro, for instance, former head of studio for Fantasy Flight, starts Earthborn Games. That has our attention because we know Andrew and we assume that whatever he's producing out of his now personal studio is going to be kind of him, and we really dig what he did at FFG. So that's the first thing is we look at what's out there and then we try to get copies to play, be they early or already at retail or what. So we reach out to somebody like Eric and say, hey, we're really into what you're doing with Sorcery. Can we check this game out? We're considering, we would love to be able to sell it on our store and to let people know that it exists.
Like with Sorcery, I literally saw a tweet, and we do a Throwback Thursdays a lot on Thursday. We play old games and old card games primarily. I saw a tweet with the booster boxes a while back, and it looked like an old game, and I had never heard of Sorcery. So
It's like, this is a throwback?
I was like, oh, I'm always on the lookout for that. So I clicked, I went over to the website, and I found out it's not. It's a new game, and a lot of the stuff there really appealed to me and to us and what we enjoy playing, the kind of projects we want to support and help succeed. All the art being handmade, just the totally radically different approach. So from there, a lot of times the next step is actually touching base with the publisher, seeing if we can get an early copy, talking to them, feeling out their plans, even their just capacity, their business acumen, and like, do we think they can actually successfully deliver what they're saying they're going to deliver and continue to support it in a way? Because we've grown up playing these games so many times. Kind of fly-by-night publisher publishes a game.
We've learned our lessons.
Yeah, and it can be pretty devastating as a player. This has happened so many times to us. To spend a bunch of money, the limited money you have supporting a game, buying into a game, and then it just kind of disappears. So we're pretty careful. Not that we, it's a fine balance, because a lot of times this project's crazy.
It's a unicorn. Yeah.
Yeah, but the projects you want to support, a lot of times, they're smaller publishers, and so even this is a very small operation with a very crazy concept, approaching TCGs in a radically different way. And fortunately, we're in a position where we can support stuff that may not work, but we try to be very candid and honest about the reality of that stuff.
Yeah, and you've met Eric, right? And you're like, okay, Path of Exile has chops in a parallel industry. Do some talking up front. How serious are you about this? Have you lined things out? Are you thinking clearly about the future? Those kinds of things. And it's amazing how many games don't make it through to the end because those things don't happen. Yeah. It's like, how are you going? You just expect it to just come out and everyone to be like, oh, we love it because it's a nice design. Yeah. It's like, that's just not how it works.
And we kind of expected this coming out of the pandemic, but in the past 6 months, we've tried, I think, 12 to 15 other games, and we ended up adding only a couple to our, because we can only actually play and support and create content for and build community around so many games at a time. We're very selective about what we're, and just the reality I was talking about earlier, only so many games are going to make it. Every game that comes out is not going to be successful. So that's something we're very cautious about when we're adding. So if we're adding it, we are already basically stating that we believe in it. And of course, full transparency, right? We are an online and local retailer that has a subscription service for these things. Even now with Sorcery, we have a subscription service up. So we've never been paid to do content and don't intend for that to ever be the case. But there is a commercial interest in general because that's how we're able to do all the stuff that we're doing, from the content to the services we offer, is because people are buying stuff from us, and it allows us to do what we're doing. So that is there, but there's definitely not we will pay you to say nice things about our game and promote it. That's just a line we aren't going to cross.
He's correct. Any last things on who should or should not play Sorcery? I think it's pretty clear, right? Laid back, kitchen table, beautiful art, great. If you don't like the what some might consider clashing art styles, that can be a bother to some people. And
some people might not even like the art style in general.
Might not like it at all. Cool. Yeah, that's wonderful. There's plenty of other games with a lot of different art styles for you to check out. If you're looking for a highly competitive environment with deck lists and tweaking and tournaments, I don't think this is it. If you're looking for a light, quick game, Sorcery is not that either. It's not light.
It's not that bad.
It can be quick, but in terms of like a true like light game that's easy to understand right out of the box, you're going to be looking stuff up in the rulebook.
Totally.
You're going to have to ask, what is stealth? You're going to have to ask, what is airborne? How does that work again? And what's a firebolt? And why isn't it printed anywhere?
Yeah, well, in this version, we're still early
What's this
days.
little frog card about?
Like the rulebook is, I think, 0.3 version right now. Yeah. So I assume by the time the precons come out, we'll get the little rulebook, hopefully.
Yeah.
The classic rulebook. But the other thing I would say, for me personally, this game is in the perfect spot. Because I'm really into Flesh and Blood. That's my sport style game. I'm playing it all the time, going to big tournaments and stuff. But this is the lay back, have a cocktail, have a coffee, have whatever, chill over a game, have a good time. I got bamboozled. I think it was both weeks, actually. The snake got bamboozled last week. I was so far ahead, and I just couldn't win.
Home of the bamboozle.
But, like, it was just awesome to watch. I was not tight. You know, it's like you drew the card that killed me off the top of your deck, and you were escaping from me.
You know what's funny? Normally, that would be so infuriating.
Yeah.
Oh, you top decked the thing that won you the game. That's crazy. Like, that's not fair. And yet, it was, like, so... It seems so, like, we were both just like, well, here it is. Wait, I got it.
Yeah.
Woo.
And it's kind of, I mean, there was this pressure for 3 or 4 turns. Like, can you escape death?
Yeah.
And then can you find a way to kill me?
Yeah.
And we were both didn't know the answer.
Yeah, that's right.
And, like, that was fun. So, anyways, as a competitive player of another game, and as someone who gets to play a ton of different games, this is so different and also so laid back that I don't feel intimidated by... That's why I like the slow releases. I'm already having to keep up with Fab. It's like, I don't need another... buy a ton of boxes every 3 or 4 months and do this whole thing.
And train.
Yeah, it's like, I just get what I get. If I get, like, the devil's eggs, it's like, I'm going to build a devil's eggs deck, of course. And then you just build a couple kind of wacky decks doing its thing, and, you know, not like it's goofy, but just like I had a couple cards and we'll get in the deck building process that I'm going to key off of. And it's like, well, I'm really just trying to make one of these 3 things happen. And, like, if that happens, even if I don't win, I'll have had a good time.
All right, so let me round the horn on this because I think it's really important. I'm going to go to our website.
Jeff Smith says, I want to see a pop-up for bamboozling. It's a keyword now.
So check this out. This is an important spread for everybody to really appreciate. So as you were saying that, I was thinking, you know what? I want exactly one game that is, like, on my mind in a very competitive way. And I want exactly one game that is, like, in the depths of theme for me. So Sorcery is Sorcery. It's TCG. It's the deep theme layback, once or twice release a year. Then you have Flesh and Blood, which is both from New Zealand. I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on in New Zealand. They got Lord of the Rings, they got Sorcery, and they got Flesh and Blood. You know, move there already.
I mean, you had me. They got Lord of the Rings.
I know. Like, what are we doing? Why are we here in Tulsa? So then we got Flesh and Blood, which to me is the pinnacle of competitive, tightly balanced, back and forth, tempo-based gameplay. Very exhilarating, very exciting matches. Then you got Soulforge Fusion, which is a unique deck game, which is under the TCG in terms of buy-in, but over the LCG in terms of collectability.
Yep, mid-range.
Thread the needle perfectly. Kind of have a sealed experience
deck building,
all the time.
But there's deck pairing.
Deck building, but you pair your decks together. That's a beautiful thing. Then you got Ashes Reborn, which is the competitive LCG, if you will. Also beautiful game. Some of the best mechanics. Extremely nice, like, kind of analytical gameplay. But one pack every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful release model.
I've been thinking about this as well. You mentioned it, but Ashes is we interviewed Nick last night. This is what triggered it probably. That's a masterpiece.
It is.
That game is a piece of art in its own beautiful way.
It's perfect. Then you've got Marvel Champions Arkham Horror, co-op LCGs, calm release schedule, beautiful cooperative experiences, you versus an environment. Then you got Skytear, beautiful fusing of miniatures and card games.
You're going down the spectrum
on a table, incredible. Then you got Marvel Crisis Protocol. Let's not forget,
full on miniatures,
tabletop miniature skirmish game, and then because we couldn't resist, we also have Pokemon.
That's just pure nostalgia.
It's just pure nostalgia for Zach and I. We were like, dude, we haven't played Pokemon in so long. Let's play it. Let's see if we can get some boxes. We'll do a Pokemon sub. We'll get some people their boxes, especially in the times whenever the boxes were like insane. I was like, yeah, we'll do that.
And that was the card game that got us both into tabletop in the way that we got in, right?
You got to respect that, right?
It's amazing that it's still around.
Stock that if you
can.
It's
really crazy.
Even though it's impossible to accurately stock that game.
It's accurate. It's accurate that you're...
my comment about accuracy is accurate.
Yeah. SR, can't you just build fun, jank decks in any card game? Why is it so specifically geared towards casual play? So you can, but most games that I've played, the designers, I think, are designing and trying to balance around balance. And there's like a curve that they're not willing to go inside or outside of. And the curve is both the power level and the complexity of the interaction. And so what this game is basically conceding, the kind of things that I think 99.9% of designers, and we're interviewing a handful of designers on our podcast, the Covenant Cast, for upcoming episodes as part of our How to Ruin a Game series. And if you're actually talking to the designers of the heads-up PvP competitive games that can be competitive, right? I think that there's a power level and a complexity level that they are unwilling to go outside the bounds of and print it into their game, partially because they know they're going to have to keep designing cards, and how all future cards relate to that one card is they're kind of building their own borders, right? The eventual bed that they're going to have to lay in is being created every time they're publishing cards. So they tend to be a little more conservative with what they even allow to happen from that perspective. This game is totally unleashed. So it's...
You have an idea? Let's put it in there.
It's like that thing. What was that unit I had? The kind of grotesque thing that hooked things last night?
Yeah, the Pudge Butcher unit.
The Pudge Butcher or something like that. This is just the kind of thing that... And part of the reason is tracking this in a competitive environment would create so many potential problems. They just avoid it.
Yeah.
And so this game, knowing that that's not the environment any of these cards are intended for, is willing to go places that you just don't go with most designs.
I think there's also a consideration when you're talking about jank decks, which I really do enjoy, which are kind of like off meta, or there's like weird ideas that maybe weren't intended by the designers of the cards, is the role that variance plays in how useful that strategy is. So like, as an example, in Fab, like a jank deck doesn't really exist because you can throw a lot of cards that don't work as well together, but you're just gonna lose. I mean, you're just gonna lose quickly. But in a game where there's a ton of variance, like 1-ofs in decks, 2-ofs in decks, you're drawing less cards every turn, you're not seeing all of your deck every turn. The ability for a jank deck to do its thing before another maybe better deck can put together what it does to win the game is actually a lot higher. So you can have big moments once every 5 games, and it's like, it worked 1 in every 5 games. You would never have that in a lot of the tighter, balanced games.
And I've played games where, I think about Star Wars TCG back in the day, they had the Jedi Council Quorum. So you get 7 Jedi Masters out, you win. And that was pretty crazy, but almost always in those kind of games, that sort of thing is almost unachievable. Like, it was like very uncommon, like even if you were trying to do it. Whereas I feel like the Devil's Egg is such a great example, because that's, if you draw it, it's happening.
It's there. Yeah, let's work this.
And it's kind of wild. So anyways, I think it's just a matter of focus and what when you're designing the kind of experience you're trying to craft, right? And if you're just trying to craft even just burrowing as a mechanic, it's like you immediately feel like it's underground.
Yeah.
And so it just captures a feeling that is, we played a lot of card games, and this is capturing feelings in a way that I haven't experienced. Yeah, for sure.
And Dan Campbell in the chat also saying different formats. Did you know this? They call this out. Oh, there they go. They call this out on the podcast, apparently saying like an LCG and a TCG, calling those formats instead of genres.
Okay.
They're genres. We just made a mistake on that.
What's the...
They're genres.
I'm not following.
There was a tweet. You missed the whole thing because that was only me engaging with it. Yeah. But basically, on a podcast, we were talking about LCGs, TCGs, etc. being formats. And then Dan was saying, excuse me, those are genres of games.
Is it not a format of releasing a game?
No, because like formats are like constructed, blitz, etc.
It depends on your definition of format.
It does.
It depends what your definition is.
I like that you're willing to go to the mat for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here all day. J.K. Lawlings, this is a good example. This is a good note. I built plenty of jank decks in Magic. The aesthetic and theme and how they relate to the actual mechanics, though, are nowhere near the level of what Sorcery is appearing to offer.
That's right. Let's build some decks.
All right, let's do it. You ready for the master level deck building advice and tips from people that have played the game a couple times? That's what we should title the episode.
Do we need to zoom out more, you think?
I think that's fine.
We got enough space?
You want me to take you through my journey? You want to do it at the same time? What's your vision? I'm
going to get the full circle in here.
Astari, you guys should design a game.
We don't have time.
You know, we've definitely had the conversation and talked about it, but ultimately, here's the thing. I'm gonna shoot straight with you here. There's a lot of really incredible games coming out. We've tried 10 to 15 in the past couple of months. But in tabletop in general, there's a lot of other things going on that we think could be improved, that we could spend our effort improving and making better. So that's just where we're choosing to spend our time. But, you never know. One day, long time from now, we might retire and be like, we're going to design one of those 90s games.
Time ago.
All right.
What's your process? I'm going to focus this up.
Here is my process. The deck building, you can have 20 resource locations in your deck. That's the minimum. You can have any number you want, but 20 is the minimum.
We only get 16 in the precons.
There was also a note in the... So I was reading this somewhere. I forgot where it's at. Maybe in the rulebooks. But the deck maximum, you can only have a number of cards in your deck to the point where it's still shuffleable with 2 hands.
Love it.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you can have as many... Once you get to the point where you can't just actually shuffle your deck, you can't do that.
Yeah. I love
Again, that would never happen in another game. This is just not like in a competitive game.
It must be defined.
Yeah. So 20 locations, and I've got 2 elements, right? And I think there's going to be... I didn't even know this existed, but they've been revealing different avatars. So the precons have like Avatar of Earth, Avatar of Fire. I also like the Battle Mage. But
I mean, he doesn't like that.
There's a character called the Elementalist that provides 1 threshold of every color as part of its ability.
Yeah.
And threshold is not resources, but that just means that deck can play 4 colors, and I've always loved rainbow decks. Mm-hmm. Like, always been appealing. Like, back in Pokemon days, Lugia.
There's your jank right there.
Fire, Earth, and Lightning to do its attack. Immediately, it was just like, I love this.
I don't know what that new Pokemon is.
Lugia?
Yeah.
That was in the second 150. That's
sorry, no.
That's the Silver Age.
The second
and Gold
150?
Age.
Excuse me. There is no second 150. There are 150 Pokemon. 151 if you count Mew. And only if you want to glitch your Game Boy out.
I do count Mew.
Yeah, so 151. That's it.
Mew's one of my favorites.
That's it.
The the Pokemon movie, it's got Mew in it, so you got to do that.
Yeah.
Episode 1 of the Pokemon show had Ho-Oh in it. Like immediately.
Episode 1 of the original Pokemon?
I think so, yeah. It's the golden bird at the end. It's like flying away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that gives you 152.
No, that's part of the... Anyways, that's beside the point. The point is playing 2 elements.
Easy cat.
So you could play 3 elements or 4 elements. There's no restriction.
Yeah.
Playing 2 elements, my intent is to go 10 and 10 on the locations.
All right.
Because half of my locations are 1 element and half are the other, I'm also going to be nervous to include anything with too high of a threshold, particularly at the lower resource counts.
Yep.
So if it costs 2 and it's got 2 threshold of 1 color, I'm less likely to want to do that.
Yeah, it's not on-curve, right?
Yeah. So then we're also going to have to pick which avatar we're playing, and we also have to have at least 40 cards in the main deck.
Yeah.
So as an example, I sorted my cards by cost.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Hold on. I sorted my cards by what draws me cards.
Well, that's a good place to start, functionally speaking. I would have expected the opposite from us, right?
Yeah. Well, but I like drawing. Sunken Treasure, Mother Nature, come on. Yeah. I'm going to do a heavier water split. I'm going to do like a 70-30.
Okay.
Or a 60-40.
I like it. I like that we're exploring these options here.
I'll do like 6 wind, 14 water, and maybe only play into 1 or 2 wind threshold.
You need 40 cards.
Just on the sides. 6 wind sides, 14
I thought you said 16
water
and 14. I was like, that's 30.
Yeah.
I don't know which direction we're going here, honestly.
6 wind.
So my intent is, this is Totally Random Studios. Good question. Favorite Pokemon?
It's a random question. Oh, Cubone. 100%.
Yeah, I actually could have said that.
Yeah.
As often as I'm not paying attention to what you're saying. I knew that. Bryce in the background. Got him.
Got him.
We need a got him slide too.
Got him.
Favorite Pokemon? Charizard's really high on my list. Just because...
Boring.
Yeah, I know it's boring. But actually, never, ever. Other hits of mine, I really like Pikachu. Like in the show, he's very ornery and hilarious. Mm-hmm. And then I also really liked Mew and Mewtwo a lot. Like you do. It's just the nature of things. But I'd pick Charizard first. / Charmander. All right, so my plan was I was going to start with, as an example, looking at my 1 cost from each deck. and then picking the ones that I definitely want from there based on my requisites, which I love that you're doing this 70-30 play. So I've got a couple of, the Earth deck only has one cost, which is the Wild Boars.
Weak.
And
look at those guys. I hate wild pigs, man.
so I'm going to play them because they're 1 cost and they're 1 threshold. So if you're looking to be on curve in your opening hand, that makes sense. Then on the fire side, we have 2 Raw Dromedary.
Dromedaries. I know that because it's what we call the water bags that we carry when we're hiking.
Dromedary bags.
And
you gotta love those things. And we also get 1 Will-O-the-Wisp. These are all 1 threshold, 1 cost. I actually like all of these cards, so I'm probably gonna play all 5.
Oh, but what happens when you draw 2 1 costs, in a row, and you just can't compete late game?
If it's it doesn't matter. You gotta be able to compete early game to get to the late game. You know what I mean? All right, so then we're gonna look at our 2 costs, and this is where we're gonna start weeding some stuff out. And I'm not going to say that necessarily pop every one of these cards because there's a lot of different cards to pop. But one thing I'm noticing is there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 4. There's 7 2 costs in both decks. So I'm gonna take that as a hint. And again, the higher threshold stuff is what makes me nervous. So I'm looking at these Cave Trolls. They're 2 Earth. So to even play this, I'd have to have 2 Earth locations.
Yeah, unlikely.
Don't like that. On the fire side, the Rattlesnakes and the Rimland Nomads both cost 2. So if I actually take out anything that's 2 threshold, I'm left with 7 2 cost cards. So that's as far as I'm going to go.
That's easy.
That's what we're going to play. Those are the 7 that we're going to get. I know everyone wanted to see me play the snake so we can enact our revenge on Steven. Not today. I'm just going to have to be okay with that.
Be okay.
Be okay. Now 3 costs get a little interesting. And this is, one, it's early, so not early in the day, but it's early in our experience with this game. So, I could really dive into what I'm playing and what synergizes and all that kind of stuff. But I'm an experiential learner, which means the faster I can get back to the table with a stack of cards, I'll just learn if that card was good or not. And if I draw a card and it was bad, it goes out of the deck and I replace it with something that was good. And after about 100 games, I know what I'm doing.
Is that how you approach ethics as well?
Give me an example.
You don't think about what the right thing to do is, but you do any number of things and then later decide that, that didn't work out for me, so it must not have been right?
More or less, yeah. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
A little chaos, right? We gotta try stuff.
We'll pull the trolley car this way this time.
On some layer, it's true though, right? Like that's how you learn. It's like you push someone down and then they enact their revenge and then you're like, you know what? I shouldn't mess with people.
No, man, I never push somebody down.
So later, you must not have had a little brother. Later, it's like, should I take this person's, their special Chicago Bulls pencil that they would be devastated if you took? Probably not. There might be repercussions to that. I already knew that because when I was 4, I pushed my brother down and I got in trouble. Totally random saying, we've arrived at the philosophy part of the stream. So 3 costs to me is still, I can't count on having 2 of either at that point in my mind. So
you're still, what you imagine, it's on the 3rd turn of the game. So you play a site first turn, it's your first site.
Because you start with 3 sites in hand, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be tapping my avatar to play sites probably for the first 4 or 5 turns. I would assume pretty much every time. And so I'm also going to need to be drawing if I'm missing curve pieces.
Right.
And I want to make sure on those first couple of curve pieces I have the option to play something.
Yeah.
But it'd be so easy to just not have a second Earth location.
Yeah.
Once we get to 4 and 5 costs, by then I hopefully have maneuvered around.
That land surveyor speeds up your ability to be good at multi-sites.
It really does.
So
we're not done yet. So
we're not done.
The final stage of the process, once I have a stack of cards that I might put in my deck, is go and make sure there's not more than 40, and then look through the cards I'm not playing to make sure there's nothing that I'm devastated not to have.
Okay.
So I'm gonna remove the 2s on the 3 and see how many we're left with.
And I need to count how much, because it actually kind of builds itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'll drop these guys. So, carrying on. SR. Listen, Steven, this is how Zach wins tournaments. It's also how you lose a lot of tournaments. To things that you probably shouldn't.
I got 53 cards coming in.
Into what?
I cut everything that was like big threshold from the other side, from the win side.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I need to cut 13 to get down to the
You're
nitty-gritty.
like the opposite approach here.
I'm thinking about things.
He's a thinking man. You're in the wrong game. That's not why I'm here.
Less thinking, idiot.
I also, like, as an example, as thematic as the Pudge Butcher was, it's a little grotesque for me. So it doesn't really matter what it does or what it looks like. That's not why I'm here. I'm not offended by it, but if I'm going to see a card, I'd much rather see, you know, like Cerberus in Chains. Look at that guy. He looks like a good boy.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Doesn't he, though? Guy loves his quarrelsome cabalds.
So in a perfect world where you play a site every turn and you get to 7 sites like a normal, natural person, that means you want an equal number of 1 through 7. No. That means you want to scale up to 7. So we get 40 cards. 40 divided by 7 is 5-ish.
5.6-ish.
6-ish.
7.
Between 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to, you could do 5 of every cost, and then you have an equal number, an equal chance of drawing every one of your on-curve things. So in a perfect world, you draw your 1, and then you draw your 2, and then you draw your 3, your 4, your 5, your 6, your 7. Boom, boom, boom. So you probably want to weight it lower to the 2s and 3s. Because a 3 and a 2 make a 5, a 3 and a 3 make a 6, etc., etc.
This is the old spoils math.
Yeah.
Yeska, so there will be 4 avatars in play at the same time. So each person only has 1 avatar.
I love these sea serpents.
Tyler asking if Lord of the Rings TCG is tomorrow. It is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Pop the schedule, maybe? Well, boom. See what I did there?
Let's talk about that schedule real quick. What do we got coming up? We got Lord of the Rings on Thursday. Yeah, that's tomorrow. We're opening Realms of the Elf Lords. Then we're coming in on Monday. Oh, there it is again. On Monday, Earthborn Rangers. I'm going to be having a conversation with Andrew Navarro of Earthborn, another game that has come onto Kickstarter and is waiting to be fulfilled, and then onward it goes.
And I'm going to be drinking a drink with an umbrella.
That's a fantastic game too, and I think if you dig Sorcery, you got to check out Earthborn. It's like super thematic, super awesome art, cooperative game. So and it's gonna be so good, and you'll get like probably a bigger expansion every 6 months or so. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but super interested in that. So come join us for Monday for an interview. On Monday for an interview. Flesh and Blood next week. I don't know what the tile says, but we've got a wild idea. We're going to do some deck building with Brute and Dark Horse stuff, and we're waiting to see the announcement on what they're doing for their organized play, something that Sorcery will probably never have to do. Ashes Reborn next week on Wednesday. Join us for that too. It's Introducing Ashes. You've never seen Ashes. You like Sorcery. You don't know what Ashes Reborn is. Come in on Wednesday and check it out with us. We'll be telling you why we like it, what it's about, how to play. And then finally next Thursday, Lord of the Rings TCG. We're going to be playing our final 3-block decks from the original block of the game. Realm of the Elf Lords, Mines of Moria, Fellowship of the Ring. Boom.
I'm looking forward to it. I always have a good time on those streams.
You also don't want to have too many spells. There's a lot of Axii.
Yeah. You got to be careful. Or maybe you do want a bunch of spells. Perhaps.
Maybe you do.
Perhaps, my dude. Okay, so I've got my deck built. It's 43 cards. I'm going to commit Steven's #1 sin of being good at games. Because I'm here to play all the things I like to play.
Wait, you're good at them?
No. Then I'm going to go back through.
No.
What's petrified mean?
Don't know.
Can you pop that?
Yeah.
Can you read it to me? What'd you say?
9 spells is too... I think that might be too many.
Depends on how good they are, right?
No.
You are not a control player. Stone
What's your
Gaze
first clue on that
Gorgons.
one?
I don't have a petrified cube.
We don't even know what petrified. We don't even know what it is here in the office.
Yeah, let's see. Mortified, petrified. You ever seen Brilliant Mind?
Brilliant what?
Mind? Or A Beautiful Mind? There it is.
Oh, sure.
Don't you know? So I'm going back through my rejected cards to make sure there's nothing here that I absolutely can't live without. Minor Explosion is hard to not play. I am that kind of player. Don't tell Steven. Alright, we're happy with it.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
3 Thunderbolts is too many, right? I think I'll only take 2. Just need it once. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, no.
Apparently, Petrified, Sleep, Disabled, and Frozen are all tap, can't do anything, and lose all abilities till the end of the next round.
Yeah, see, but it's thematically different, which is nice.
Yeah. I noticed when I was dividing out these locations and actually looking at you, again, when you start deck building, you start seeing the matrix a little bit, as it were. But this is interesting to me. Remote Desert, let's pull that up. Genesis, this desert may deal 1 damage to a nearby minion or site. Provides 1 fire resource, of course. We also have the Arid Desert. Different art. But the same exact ability.
You got a little redundancy when you're building.
Yeah. Let's look at the Red Desert. Would you look at that? Does the same thing. Just different art. Which is actually kind of nice. What's that fire location do? Oh, the same thing they all did.
Yeah.
I love the art on Cornerstone. It just, I honestly don't know how to make it good. Don't get it. That's fine. Stonehenge, beautiful art. I would almost play it just because it's beautiful, but I don't know what it does. I do like Vesuvius. That's how I play the game.
I'm just catching like glancing blows as to your deck building process here, but it's really got me excited. What's that? Well, who knows? Well, let's play it. Let's not play that. I'll play that thing. 2,
I mean,
3, 4,
this
5,
is why
6.
we're here, man. All right, I'm going to do 2 of each of these just for theme. Cutting 1 of each of these desert locations.
This is the part of deck building we should really be explaining. It's like, I feel like I've watched deck building streams before that we've done, and then we like explain everything up to the critical point where we actually make decisions.
Yeah. So what I literally did, and I will explain it. So there's a handful of locations that have really powerful abilities in my deck. Vesuvius, if you have 3 threshold, you can sacrifice to deal 3 splash damage on nearby sites. Crazy moment. River of Flame. Cast 2 fire spells on your turn. If you do that, you can shift the river to any void in the realm. So it's a location that if you play 2 fire spells, you can move it into any void.
This looks incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it looks great. So there
so
we are.
Good.
And then one of my favorites, honestly, is Shifting Sands. And there's 2. You can actually play 2 of these in a deck. Till the end of turn, minions summoned here gain haste, which means they can activate the turn you play them. Very powerful location. So these 4 all have abilities that I think are very useful. And then these are more conditional, and I'm not really deck building to it. I think they're if you're playing around these locations, they'll be really good. So then I'm just trying to get to half and half, right? So I need 10 fire locations. All my deserts do the same thing. And just so I can see all the different art, I included 2 of each of them.
Nice.
And they all kind of do the same thing.
So there's all the different art. Yeah. You know what's driving me up the wall right now? So you got these towers, right? Dark Tower. Gain a mana until end of turn when it comes into play. So technically, you can just skip 1s entirely. If you have 1 tower in your hand to start.
Well, you can. How many towers can you run out of 20 though?
9.
You can run 9 towers.
9 towers.
That's your 9.
That's the basic. That's the air is gaining 1 extra mana when it comes into play.
So red's doing a damage. Air is getting a resource.
Yeah.
Earth is getting a foot soldier.
Wow, that's cool. Water is doing the look at the top, put it on the bottom, or
Filter.
keep it up there.
Interesting.
Filter. Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, water needs to be filtered.
Yeah, I get it.
It's my Brita deck.
All right. So the core Earth location is like Rustic Village, as an example, which is when you play it, you get a foot soldier. There's the Humble Village, which these all kind of form a nice panorama, honestly. But same thing, and then Simple Village. So that's the just kind of generic Earth location. So let's look at some of the two ofs.
We get 20 sites. What are the chances of drawing 1 of 6 sites? It's about 1 in 3, 30%, right?
Every time you draw. So if you're drawing 3, The odds of missing is 70% times 70% times 70%, which is 35%.
And then I get a mulligan as well.
Discard, draw 3, or how does it work?
Shuffle everything in and draw 3 fresh.
Yeah, so the odds of hitting that issue twice would be...
Should be low, right?
About 9%.
Okay. I might go to 7. I feel like 7's going to be better.
Statistically speaking...
7 is 100% chance.
No.
Is that not how stats work? Oh, but all the 1 costs look awesome. Here we go.
Edward says, I don't know why, but the, in quotes, it's my Brita deck really got me. Quagmire, nearby ground minions are disabled until the start of your next turn. So this is a really good location. But I know I'm playing against Mr. Airborne. And that was really annoying last time. I had this location.
All my water stuff was groundbound.
Uh-huh.
Or waterbound, I don't know.
We'll keep one of these here. Just see what we can.
4, 5, 6, 7,
Holy Ground, nearby allies gain +1 power until the end of turn. That's pretty good too, if I'm being honest. Let's look at the special ones, the one-ofs. Rift Valley. I love this. I would play it for the art. It could be blank. We'd still put it in there. But if you have 2 Earth out, when you play it, you can slide a surrounding site to an adjacent void. Love that stuff.
Genesis mean
when you play it at creation. Yeah. Vantage Hills, also love this one. Ranged avatars and minions have +1 range. Let's just look through my stack, see how many ranged we got. See if this is even possible. 1. Range is the thing that's going to make Steven very frustrated.
I've got it too.
I know you do, but just getting shot at.
But yes, it does frustrate me. That's kind of the
is.
goal. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Lord of the
6,
Rings
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
You are the ranger.
16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 45, 36, 7, 2, 8, 29, 30, and 10 spells. I'm built.
I don't have ranged. I mean, I do, but not much. Then we have Secret Tunnel. Your minions that unburrow here. Your minions that unburrow may do so here. Ooh. I didn't understand what that did when I was looking at it earlier. But then it makes sense now, and I love it.
It sure does.
Yeah. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 5 generic. So 2, 2, and 1. We have done it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a constructed deck out of our very limited collection. All right, now let's look at this. Avatar choice, big moment. Avatar of Earth. As usual, you can tap to play a site or draw a site. +1 attack for each nearby Earth site. Immediately not interested because I have only half Earth sites, right?
Yeah, I don't want.
So that's going to be way harder to queue up. Now, Avatar of Earth. So that means Avatar of or Avatar of Fire. Avatar of Earth is going to like decks that are way heavy Earth.
Yeah.
To use, if you care about that ability. But I assume if this is your Avatar, you would care about that ability. So Avatar of Fire it is. Tap, discard a fire site.
We're going back. Come on, we know what we're doing.
You may move 1 step. So you tap, discard a site, you can move. Cast Firebolts for free. Do we have the Firebolts card? I'm glad you do. It's basically 1 cost thing. We don't have it. Yeah, it's not in there. 1 cost thing. You get 3 bolts. You can send it in any cardinal direction, and it does splash damage on the site the first time it hits something.
I'm gonna fire a ball.
It's close. It's not the same thing, though. All right, I'm built. I'm ready to crush you. Enact my revenge. Prepare for your inevitable doom.
Weak.
What's your favorite card in your deck? I like asking Steven questions he wasn't ready for when he's trying to think. I can tell. I can see
I've been ready.
the IQ over there.
I'm all ready. I'm ready already. My favorite in the deck, it is...
I'll tell you what, you're not ready for my
probably that Tadpole Pool.
My Siege Ballista.
Yeah, no, I definitely I'm not. Some of my favorites are actually Midnight Rogue, Lethal and Stealth, 2/2. Unbelievable. I can't believe it was printed.
That's what my splash damage is for. Kaboom!
The Pirate Ship, I think a nice 3/5.
Dude, the sunset on that is beautiful.
Isn't that nice?
I would enjoy.
Sea Serpent probably just generally one of my favorites. This reminds me, so I've said this many times, but when Josh and I, remember Josh Taylor?
I do. We played saxophone together.
Yeah, you played saxophone together.
Sat
That's
next
right.
to him
The
for a
same
long
one. when we got into Magic for a time, we just bought one giant lot off of eBay. And it had all these water cards that I'm sure nobody played. But one of them was like a Leviathan sea snake monster, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I killed him with it.
All it takes is one time.
Yeah, just takes one. All right, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Joe says, I bet he's not ready for your burrowed snakes either.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Edward, thank you so much. Saying, congrats, Zach, on finally getting a drink.
7.
It's a big day.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I'm real excited here.
1, 2, 3,
I'm excited to see what cards come out of my deck.
What's your favorite card?
Atlas Wanderers. Come on. I like the shifting sight stuff and the void stuff somehow. Not somehow, I get it. Void and fire, those are my elements.
10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16. All right, so I'm going 7 wind, 13 water.
On your locations?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate the fact that we had dramatically different approaches there. I immediately was just like, oh, it's 50-50, of course. Like, not even
Yeah, you gotta ski water. Water's the coolest.
Yeah, I'm into it.
And then I cut a decent amount of my ones because I've got the towers in the deck, so I
Honestly-
can accelerate up.
Honestly,
Okay.
I think
I'm ready.
playing 0 1-cost cards might end up being the call.
Yeah, it probably is.
Because, like, you get very limited draw in this, and they're very weak potatoes compared to the big baddies.
They are.
I'd almost rather not play anything on turn 1 to guarantee I had a 5 later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Big brain time.
These are the decisions I look forward to not having to ever make.
Joe says, because it's random or because you just picked up cards and made a deck? So it's because it's not random, but effectively I'm at half and half on my resource types. So for cost 0 to 4, I just got rid of anything that had 2 threshold or more to make sure that I could definitely play them early in the game. And then at 5 and above, I just played the cards that I think look the coolest and are awesome.
It's a good method. Yeah, good method.
Let's get this all centered. Oh man, those lines. Whoever was responsible for putting the lines on the screens that the folks at home can't see.
That was me.
5 out of 5 stars. Should get a gold star in a performance review. Can you hand me one of those fabulous boards?
Yeah, it was me. Yep.
Christopher saying, how many boxes do you think you need to get a full play set? So a play set in terms of max number of quantities of things you would need to have all cards. I think there's some very rare alts collectible stuff. And there's also the Curiosas, I think, are potentially very rare. 20 health, whoops. So that number, I'm not 100% sure, but I was actually doing this math earlier. According to the number of uniques in the first set, if you wanted a shot at getting all the uniques, which I assume would then mean you have a shot at getting all of everything else, I'm speculating you're going to need about 7 to 8 total boxes if you really wanted it all. And I would assume after there's some number, it's like with Fab, maybe 3 in, 4 in, you would have a full play set of all the 4 of and 3 ofs, and you would really just be missing the 1 of cards that don't show up as often. It depends on the dupes you get and all that kind of stuff too.
And as for me, me and 3 others are splitting a case by faction.
Which is a phenomenal way to get almost everything for your faction.
Yeah, and I honestly, getting everything, don't care.
Not even everything, just getting a very concentrated amount of your color of choice.
Now, the hope is that everybody who's on that split doesn't buy more cards. Like, we just keep splitting a case every time, but someone obviously is going to be like, I'm going to buy the more boxes.
It's like the Prisoners of Limo.
Yeah, and then they ruin it for everybody.
See, my hope is that if you buy, let's say, a box or 2, that the deck you build actually isn't just like severely limited against someone that just owns it all.
Sure.
And if that's the case, it doesn't matter how much they buy.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of they have more different decks they could build.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because of the way uniqueness works and the rarity works, if you buy a couple boxes, you're going to get 90% of the, like, you'll have
The 4s and 3s.
the 4s and 3s that make up most of your deck. So then the uniques, it's kind of like that that drum.
Awesome, yes.
That drum that I had.
Drums of the Deep.
Drums of War or something.
Drums of the Death. Death drums. Drums
of Doom.
Doom, yeah.
Doom. So it's elite. You could run 2.
Yeah.
So like if you don't have that, you can't build a deck that centers around that concept. But I think that the rarer stuff just kind of gives you, you know, the tentpole things that point your direction. But you'll get some of that no matter how much you buy.
So we'll have to find out how much like tutoring ends up in the game. I hope it's almost none, if any.
And card draw and all that.
Because like even a 2-of in your deck, you really can't build around it.
100%. Yeah. I think you would need 3 or 4 2-ofs and then count on getting one of them. But whichever one you draw is going to dictate. You know, like even your 6-cost stuff is probably going to dictate kind of
what you want to do.
That's what I was doing last time. I had my 4 and 5 drop in hand from the start, and so I was trying to set up. Like I had the movement stuff too, so I was literally trying to position a thing, and it worked.
Yeah,
I
you set up the old special delivery situation.
Yeah, it's like here comes my army. Good luck.
These Atlas Wanderers just tossing your army over to my land.
Those Wanderers and the Amazon Warriors just like cruising in.
What's up, Calazans? Hello everyone, excited to watch this gameplay of Mixed Elements decks. Perfect, well we're here. Here we go.
Listic saying the 1 damage sights work very nicely with the Drums of Doom. Yeah. Ooh, play a sight, blow someone up. It's great. Oh, that thing cost you 6? Deuces.
3 each?
I think so.
3 of each? Are you sure?
Even
you remember
Steven?
that?
Even Steven?
Yeah.
It's odd.
Well, now I'm going to crush you.
So, I'll go first, sure.
All right, you have the option as first player to mulligan. If you do, I can opt and then choose to mulligan myself.
And mulligan to shuffle back in and draw again?
Mulligan is shuffle it all back in.
All right, let's do that.
All right, I will opt 1.
Having a 7 and a 6 cost in your opening hand is cool,
I'm gonna leave that there.
but less cool than you want it to be. Drums of Doom. Drums of Doom.
Drums of death, and I'm with your wow, smile, profile. I said.
All right, here we go. Love it. Love it. Love it. Pivot.
All right, I'm on 40. Oops.
All right.
Bad land.
Do you have that? Here it is. Right.
You got the rule book to search? Oh, I got a rule book I can read. You reading already?
No, I just want to have the turn structure laid out.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's helpful to see.
Drums of death, and I'm with your wow. Smile, profile.
All right. So start phase. Untap. Step. Nothing untap. Draw step. Skip it on the first turn. Start step. Nothing happens there. Main phase. I'm going to tap my avatar. And we're going to play
We got there.
a simple village. Genesis, summon a 1-power foot soldier.
I love it. I love those little foot soldiers,
Little cute
man.
token. They have different art on them.
They're so tiny.
Hold on. Force perspective. Hold on. Look.
Oh, look at your giant hands.
No. It's a normal sized card, you see. All right. Over to you. No one cost.
Over to me, huh? So I gotta think. Do I wanna... Am I looking to build? I think I'm looking to build. Alright, I'm gonna play the old Avatar of Water.
Give me.
Oh, sorry, Avatar of Water. I mean the Spring River. Look at the top card of your spellbook. You may put it at the bottom.
Oh. I'm gonna borrow this for a second.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I know what it is. Oh, I need to draw.
I didn't realize the Avatar of Water made every site she was on water.
I didn't know that either. Does it say
The
that on
site
there?
you were on is also a water
That's the
site.
new one. We were playing with the old one. Draw step, draw a card. Then on my main phase, play Spring River, opt.
That's silly. Silly, silly. Don't burrow against water.
Oh, I like this. Okay, I'm gonna put that on the bottom. Then we're gonna We tap to play a site. Of course, we did that.
I like how
We did
far
the
away we
thing.
are. There's going to be 2 locations here.
We've got one. Yeah. We've got 1 money.
How are you over there, Steven?
I'm gonna play out a snow leopard.
Love the snow leopard.
And then I'm gonna pass it to you.
All right, let's draw from this deck. All right, it's gonna get crazy. Ready? Draw. Start step. No start abilities. Main phase. I will tap the Avatar of Fire. We're gonna play a remote desert. Don't worry about it.
Here we go.
And then I will pass to you.
That's it, huh?
I missed my curve.
Untap everything. Draw a step. I'm gonna draw from my Atlas.
One of the cool balancing pieces here, if you miss your curve, you know, like if I'm not playing stuff, obviously I could just be waiting.
Yeah.
But also, I probably have high cost stuff in my hand.
Yeah.
So, well, even though you're not seeing that many cards, you either have smaller stuff early that can give you a little bit of advantage, or you definitely have big stuff late. It's very cool.
All right. Draws occurred.
Oh, someone's saying, isn't the snow leopard win threshold?
Oh, right.
We have been bamboozled.
We've got bamboozled.
Resources are relevant, it turns out.
Okay, so that is going to change that.
It's going to change everything.
I'm gonna connect the dots here. I'm gonna go Summer River here. Look at the top card. May put it on the bottom. I'm gonna keep that there.
You about to lightning bolt me?
No.
Right. It's like, oh yeah, that's definitely what's happening here. It's cool. I'll get you.
Oh wait, hold on.
All these river cards make me want to go swimming.
Right. Wish I knew someone with a nice pool next to the lake.
Interesting. Okay, this is what we'll do. We'll play the old Gothic Tower over here, gain a mana until end of turn, using the avatar.
This
to
is
play.
totally different. I was so excited
draw
about
a site.
our locations being friendly and connected.
Then we'll play a snow leopard. No, we only have. Oh my gosh, the threshold is screwing me up
Yes.
royally.
We're now.
All right, we gotta think then.
This is the first and last time Steven plays mixed elements.
Oh my gosh, it's so confusing right now.
Now, one of the upsides is if you had actually drawn a wind site, and that might make you lean heavier wind later. You play it; it's both wind and water when you're there.
Oh yeah.
So then you meet the threshold of water.
Yeah, that's really nice.
All water ones are always in
So you
play
play
because your
water
avatar.
first, air first. Yeah, 100%.
Merciless Rob saying the Kickstarter for this goes live in April, right? It went live a couple weeks ago. There's about 1 week left, and it's really fascinating. So the first edition print run of the first set is essentially, once the Kickstarter ends, however many boxes are ordered through the Kickstarter, that's more or less the size of the print run. Ship it. So if you want in on it, now's a pretty good time to sign up. Apparently 5 days left, according to Dan.
I don't want you stomping in here with your remote desert. Then again, maybe I do want that exactly. Okay, so I just can't play anything. Okay, fine. Play a site here. Top card of the spell. We're still leaving it there. And then I will pass.
Nailed it. Start of turn, untap. Draw step. Decisions. Let's draw from the top of this deck. Well, aren't you just a day late and a dollar short?
Dami, no, I didn't think you could make a deck of all unique and elite cards for sure.
Just tap the avatar.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna play a desert here. So pretty. It's the red desert.
Look at you're wasting your Genesis effects.
I know. I need locations in place so I can play things. We're gonna move these foot shoulders up to the desert.
There they go.
I wish there's a little sound effect. Can we do sound effects off voice
Oh,
commands?
sure. Yep, we can.
Just start getting.
We've talked about it. Yeah,
It's gonna be a party in here. Can we get a sad air horn?
We can definitely do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'm gonna play the raw dromedary. Dromedary.
Dromedary, yeah.
I'll never get that right. It's like Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's
I think it's Hearthstone, but the thing I think it is, I think I'm always wrong. So then I switch it last minute, and then it's always actually wrong. Then past you.
Sorry, the channel that's on tap. Let's draw from the spell book there. Let's go this direction. Let's build a little tadpole pool right there.
Oh, let's go.
We're gonna get 3 Froggos on it because I have 3 threshold.
Adorable. It's even funnier because the cards are so tiny.
All of them submerged.
They avoid my fire.
That's right. Yeah, and then we're going to...
I made some mistakes. Strictly. It's cool.
We're going to play some deep sea mermaids back here, submerged.
What do they do?
When they come into play, they draw a spell from the bottom of my spell book.
Ooh.
I know what it is.
Ooh, so good. Draw is good. Over to me yet?
Over to... Do I want to move my avatar there? I want to play that? No, I really don't. Yeah, over to you.
All right. Untap. Beep. Draw step. We'll draw here. Cool, cool.
That means anywhere my avatar goes, where you have something that is burrowed, immediately drowns.
That's right.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it's really good. Don't burrow against water, period.
I love it so much. Yeah, I love it so much. How do the moles live in the rain?
Still don't know.
Tale as old as time. I mean, it's a mystery the scientists still don't know.
Yeah, it's just somehow it happens. I want to know how ants live during the rain.
You know they're like 80% of the
makes so much
biomass of the
sense.
Earth? It's crazy.
Bryce, just teaching me things left and right. I totally understand that, actually. It's how water works.
What did they do? They just drink it real fast?
Like if you go under and come and then go up, there's like a pocket that doesn't get water because of the way water pressure works.
Sure.
The more you know.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
If you ever want to know if we're being genuine on stream, me looking like a fool not knowing that is verifying it.
Tour's Idiot is so cool, yeah, correct. I remember when Eric was on your podcast saying he was hoping to reach 1 million. Just checked and it's nearly 3.
Yeah, it's amazing. Ryan asking, just tuning in, what are those adorable little tokens? They come with a standard product. So they originally weren't supposed to. This is a early print of the game so that people like us could play it. And the files, they requested half-size cards, but then the files were labeled half-size, so someone read that as half of half-size. So then they came out adorably tiny, but then people loved it when they were watching like our videos and other videos. So they actually added it as a stretch goal. If you back the Kickstarter, I think you do get the itty-bitty tokens because it's a moment in time that you just can't forget, and it's funny. Okay, I declare bankruptcy. Just kidding. I'm going to tap my avatar. We're going to play... It's dangerous. But I think it's how we play. A simple village.
It is. It looks pretty simple there.
Just get a couple more foot soldiers here. Just hanging out. And then I will pass to you. Taking it easy. But man, I've got some hitters. You know what I mean? Whew. Watch yourself. Bass Like Boss. Boss Like Boss, then. Is the Kickstarter strictly a first edition print run of the first set, or will there not be any more of the first set printed? So I think that just depends on what happens, what the interest level is and stuff, but I do believe the intent is to have kind of a revised unlimited edition if the demand is there. But I don't know that plans are final.
And top step. This is going to be problematic for you.
That is the goal.
And draw the atlas. Well, I don't see any way around doing this. Or not doing it, rather. I'm going to move.
Everyone knows asking, any preliminary thoughts on the potential for TC tokens and boards for this game? Promises that they won't tell anyone.
Oh, that's very nice.
I mean, these boards are pretty nice. They're working. We already have those boards, though. I mean, you could theme them, I guess. I don't know. What would you need tokens for?
I don't know. We'll find out. There's all sorts of the amoeba that moves around, the flash fire stuff.
There's something that burns with a bunch of stuff.
You could do health in different ways. You could.
It's always, if we're supporting a game, we always are looking at that. But I think we have to be able to add some sort of not mechanical. What kind of the like practical improvement? What is that called?
Yeah, functional.
There it is.
Yeah,
some sort of functional improvement. When we do that kind of stuff, of course, we'll try to be thematic and beautiful and whatnot. But that would be the biggest question mark.
Let me tell you, man, I just got so many things to say about this.
Well, we're here to say them.
So many things to say.
I liked your comment on the Discord. Someone was talking about the leaderboard in the Discord the other day, and you were like, "Yeah, we do all our talking on stream." Like, I got a good chuckle out of that.
I'm gonna move my avatar here with that ability when I play that.
That doesn't seem fair.
And then I'm gonna pay 4 for a sea serpent who's submerged and waterbound.
Can't leave the water.
That's right.
I like that.
But this becomes a water site. So watch out.
What? Why?
Floodplain. The site directly in front is a water site.
So like a token to mark.
That would be handy.
A water site.
That'd be handy.
Like a blue dye. Perfectly thematic.
Perfectly thematic.
All right, mine.
Yeah.
Start phase. Let's untap. Let's draw. We're going top of the old resource deck.
Ooh, got him on the resource. Have you played any cards yet? You played a camel?
I played the dromedary. Sir.
Sir.
Sir. Let's look at this with the keyword app. Don't worry about me. Let's just see. Oh my goodness, it's so good.
What are you looking up over there?
Scroll up the page. Get out of here.
Tab over. Tab over.
Get out of here.
It's like I stumbled into your
sea serpent. That thing's beefy.
It's beefy at 4/5, man, and it's under the water.
If I attack this, can you block with the sea serpent?
No, but I can block with the frogs.
I can block from underground to upground?
Yeah. I can't attack up into a site, but I can always defend.
Now, what if I attacked here? Asking for a friend.
I mean, that's incredible. Good job. You did it. I can't do anything about that.
Okay. You can't stop that one. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing there. Now, if mermaids unsubmerge, then they could block like normal here, but they can't unsubmerge and then block away.
Yeah, I see.
According to my understanding of water.
These guys are wild. It's like the Ric Flair of my deck here. Gonna run wild, baby. All right. Let's use the tap my avatar. And nearby.
Yeah, it's the
asking for a friend.
All around.
Okay, hold on. That's what I got. Oh, you know what? I have to do it in this order. Woo! We're gonna play a Holy Ground. Look at that thing.
My gosh, the art is so good. What is that in? Was that Earth?
That's Earth,
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta play Earth now.
It's got the word ground in it.
It's got Holy Combat.
So literally, within the same stream, you're the one breaking the rule of playing a single element. You're out.
Dude, you could give all these frogs +1 and they could go on a frog killing spree. From 0 to 1.
It's like a plague.
This is amazing art. I could stare at that forever.
For everyone in the back, this art's pretty good.
I could put that in my room.
Okay. So nearby allies gain +1 power until the end of turn. So let's just mark that.
Mark me.
Is that an ally?
No. Yeah, probably. It's not a minion,
It's not gonna do anything.
but I mean, it is an ally. Right? Are you allied with yourself?
I don't know.
I am. I definitely am. I'm my greatest ally. If you rely on nobody, you'll always know what's about to happen.
Let's. There's 0.
Were you just trolling me,
my God.
asking if you attack this site?
No, dude.
Wait, what do you gotta? Is that the ballista that you're talking about?
No.
It seems like what a ballista would do.
I think ballista is like 8 cost actually.
Wow.
Dude, the ballista. I'll just give you a little spoiler. Can ranged attack any location on the board.
Of course it can.
Just put it in the
incredible.
back. It's like those guns at games with the shirts, you know?
Yeah. It's the T-shirt cannon of sorcery.
100%, dude. 100%.
Launch a T-shirt into the hot dog kiosk with that thing.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play the Bold Demons of Adum. 3 attack, haste, so I can use them on the first turn of play. Iron Skin, they have to take 6 damage to go away. Movement +1, so they can move, attack. You know?
Yeah, I think they could. Yeah.
Yeah. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna move, move, and then attack this location for 3.
That's beautiful. I'll take 3.
Yeah. Now, what those Bryce likes the flavor text. Let's see if I.
Is it weird? Yeah. Don't read it out loud unless it's not. Make sure it's public.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
That's aggressive. Now, what I wanted to do,
totally fine.
It's not made for TV.
It's from the old times.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do is play this to give it +1, but I needed the resource from this to play that,
right,
and it was like, I guess I'll just sing 3 and have a thing that you have to deal with back there.
It's a real bamboozle.
And then, I mean, I don't want to use that soldier on that, so I'll pass to you.
To me, huh?
Mm-hmm. Tofa, that camel is after all the water again.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the desert next to the water. I mean, it checks out. I got some surprises for you.
I think it is me who has surprises, in fact.
You better. These bull demons are going to run wild. That's the Ric Flair, by the way. I watched a lot of wrestling videos to prepare for yesterday's stream, so that's in my brain.
Yeah, as you do. As you must. Okay. Let's not sleep on this play. Okay, we're playing sorcery now, man.
Yeah.
We are freaking playing sorcery. I'm going to draw from my spellbook to start the turn. Okay, acceptable. We're going to untap everything. Okay, let's start with what we know we're going to do.
Good place.
We're going to move our Avatar of Water here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to cast for 3 a Frost Nova. Deals splash damage around my spellcaster.
What?
3 to everyone, and it freezes anybody who, of course, is not dead. Unfortunately, that is everyone but the Bull Demons with Iron Skin.
Yep. They will defend this house.
So they will be stunned. There's an example of a token you might want to use.
Stunned, eh?
Yeah, or frost it frozen.
Until when?
Until the end of your next turn, or until your next. They're one out of the loop. Whatever you think that is.
Fine.
Then we're gonna play a Swamp Buffalo here for 1.
I love it. Just
and then we're
come
gonna
on.
unsubmerge our Sea Serpent here to get ready for the goods. And then
It's gonna be a bamboozler, dude.
I'm gonna bring my mermaids out too.
He is coming out to play.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, start my turn. Let's untap. Let's draw a site. And main phase. All right.
I adore this game.
Perchance, let's say I had a card that said.
It's just like being 13 again, man.
It totally is.
It's totally like
It's like asking a rules question without actually
perfect.
asking it.
It's
So
perfect.
let's just say.
theoretically.
Let's say I had something that affected nearby ground minions.
Yeah.
And you have frogs that are underground.
Yeah.
They're not airborne.
They're not no check.
Are they ground minions or are they underground minions? You know what I mean?
If I said I left my watch on the ground, would that be accurate if it was in the ocean?
It would be accurate if it was under a little bit of dirt.
But in the ocean, they're underwater, right?
If they're below sea level, they're underground, technically.
I think submerged stuff is not ground. They're immune to all effects by definition.
We just need to look at what a ground unit is.
Look up submerged. It says they're immune to stuff, I think. We're going about this the wrong way. Look up submerged.
Minion may be summoned submerged. It may be tapped to submerge underwater. Etc. Etc. It can interact with submerged. While submerged, it may be tapped. It doesn't say it there.
For real?
Yeah, we need another section.
I thought it said submerged units are immune to stuff.
I don't know, man.
It's under the card. It's under the card, man. You can't even see it. It's under the card. It's immune to effects. I guarantee it. I promise. Hold on, look. Hold on. I'll find it. This is the enjoyable part of looking up the rules that I love.
Well, it's like playing the lottery. Someone's gonna be right.
It's not the lottery because I know I'm right.
Yeah. Cards can be placed under a site. Submerged minions. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Here we go. A minion under a site, submerged or bird, cannot be targeted by spells or abilities or be affected by effects on the site above it, and they cannot affect cards on the site above it.
Okay, bummer.
I gave you my best rules lawyer voice when I did that. Excuse me. This is what it's like. Bull demons, huh?
Seems pretty good. All right, let's tap our avatar.
Okay.
This would be a ground minion.
It is currently, yes.
We're gonna play a Quagmire. Nearby ground minions are disabled until the start of the next turn. Wah, 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 wah.
Come on. That's what I get for surfacing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then,
Man, I would have bamboozled you right 5 right to the brain.
well, I'm gonna bamboozle you.
No, it's you who will be bamboozled.
Let's play the Raytanis Titan.
Oh, I like that guy.
This Titan deals 6 splash damage on the site directly in front of it.
All right. Wow. Do avatars take splash?
Oh, you know it.
6?
Ba, ba, ba.
You just get 6?
And then I got a big beefy 6 unit sitting there for you.
You have a beefer there.
That's my turn. That's all I can do. Over to you. Think about it. I would also have this guy this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! It's unimaginable what I would have been doing to you here. It's very imaginable, actually.
You got the big stuff there. You got the big stuff.
Just wait till the next round.
Now I'll show you my next plan. I'm gonna draw a spell. Yeah, okay. Let's untap everything, except for my disabled guy. I'll just remove the token there.
Yeah, nice, nice.
And we'll remove yours as well.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a good way to do that.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Pierre. Okay, let's pull off a unified front. Let me hit the bathroom. Think about this.
I'll interact with Pierre.
Entertain the folks.
Pierre saying, I don't know if he's responding to someone. I think if you love the gameplay or you love the art and are a collector, then go for this game. But if you're an investor, I think you will be sorry in the end. This will never go to the moon. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that buys any game thinking is it going to go to the moon. But I will say, and it could be an anomaly of the pandemic and stuff, but tons of just old CCGs because eventually they become really hard to find, and tabletop continues to get super popular and more popular. It's like anything else. I mean, like sealed Coke bottles from the 50s, I'm sure are worth way more than they used to be worth. Are they the best asset to invest in? You know, again, it's not my bag, as it were, but this game, if we're talking about 25,000 boxes of first edition of the first set, if it's still around in 10, 15 years, I think boxes will be worth more than they're paid for now. How much more, I don't know. But, you know, I'm sure we'll see. I'm really curious to come back to this in 10, 15 years and see where it's at. But I don't think you're wrong in terms of the potential for this to go to that level is different. But I've been very surprised at, I mean, it's weird stuff. So Dragon Ball Z CCG from Score, I think was the original one. Boxes of that now, just because they're so rare to find sealed. Cheapest ones are at $2,000 for a box that cost $70 in 2002. So that's pretty good. 20 times the value in 15 years. But yeah, that's not common, and there's a ton of games coming out all the time, so you never know. What up, Tim? Obsidian? Good to see some familiar names. Having a second to just look at chat and not be focused on the game. Pierre saying, let's see in 10 years. All right, I'll take that bet. You leave a comment on this video in 10 years, we'll see where we're at. And if we're fortunate enough to still be playing games and talking on the podcast and stuff, I'm sure. Think about Fab and Sorcery a decade from now. I'll be excited to see. But it's even something like Netrunner LCG, non-collectible card game. You would be amazed at how much those packs sell for at this point, just because they're so hard to find. I think you might be surprised, Pierre, saying he thinks a lot of people are over-investing in Kickstarter because they think the price will go up. That might be true. But I don't know. I know a ton of people that are backing the pre-cons in a box or two or a case because they're planning on opening it. So sealed boxes and cases are probably going to be pretty rare. Torres, any updates on the new store? It's happening one day at a time. It's a big project. It's going to take some time, and we're working through that as fast as we can. I mean, I think the next major update you'd really hear us talking about is when we actually break ground, which is still some amount of time away. So we're doing that as fast as we can. And once we do have 3.0 built and open, we're super excited to host all kinds of events, including hopefully a giant gathering of Sorcery players to hang out and play the game all weekend. Bryce is excited. Man, this reminds me, there was a stream early in the pandemic. Steven left and never came back.
I remember that one.
Yeah, a couple years ago. That's crazy how long ago that was, but how recent it feels like. Been a wild few years. Torres saying, by the way, I hope you watched Moon Knight. It was incredible, or it was good. I'm planning on watching it at some point, probably this week. Pierre saying it's strange. Look at the number of people taking the 6 boxes, a couple thousand, against people taking only the pre-con, 700. Is it only the pre-con, or is that total number of pre-cons? Because I know a ton of people that are just pre-cons to try it out, but they're not all in on it, right? So they're not going to be buying any boxes. Edward says one of the cool features of 3.0 is going to be that you can unburrow there.
Yeah. I'll forward you the email.
Kevin's saying, to be fair, I'm a player, not an investor.
How dare you.
And I ordered a case. Yeah, so I'm currently on a case, leaning, maybe
I
more.
don't have any emails.
We'll see how we feel.
Not
once it's
Steven
time.
at team, at least. All right, I'm back.
I think you were going.
Yes, so
Stunned.
removed the stunned, drew the card, and now I've got to make some decisions. I know exactly what I'm going to do.
That's okay. So apparently the pre-cons, when you add them onto a pledge, don't count as a pledge level for that. So like I added the pre-cons to mine, and that wouldn't show up. Jerome, any chance for a distribution partner for your subscriptions in Europe? That is something we're actively working on, just our own capacity to fulfill in Europe. We actually have a limited amount of our components available in the UK. But that's also a long process, step by step. We started with the UK, and then Brexit happened, and there's all kinds of weird tax stuff. So we're also switching platforms soon for our website. But that is high on our list to make happen.
How many cards you got?
The two most
spells?
important cards in the game.
It's good. All right, it's time for
many
me
you
to
got?
dump. 4.
You've been waiting on me? You're ambushing?
Let's play a site. Gothic Tower, gain 1 mana until end of turn. So now I'm at 6.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to pay 3 for Drown to submerge a minion on a water site. I'm going to play 2 for a Midnight Rogue with lethal and stealth. And then I'm going to pay 1 for a Snow Leopard over here. And then I'm going to move my mermaids. It's too risky. It's too risky.
A single site?
I'm going to submerge him. No. I'm going. I'm going. They're moving up, dude. What are you looking up?
Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing.
Were you looking up splash damage?
No. What are you looking up?
Over to you.
Just checking health values. Asking for a friend. Okay, starting my turn is on tap. Then let's draw a card. Let's draw a card from my resource deck.
From your resource deck. Ooh. So you've got a 7? You have a 7? The boy's got a 7. He's got one. I think that's the only reason you're drawing from your side deck.
That'd be a good reason.
Your avatar hasn't moved, so clearly you're new to the game. Got him.
Hold on.
Hey, what are you looking up over there?
Um,
You looking up orange?
orange. Door hinge can rhyme with orange.
Is that according to Eminem?
Learn that from Eminem.
One of the greats.
Truly.
Yeah. This feels like a classic battle. We've got a true front line established. We've not had this before. Previously, it was more like bamboozly.
Uh-huh. It sure was. It's good though, man. It's good.
I'm like here to win this game right now.
I can feel it.
Yeah, dude.
Let's
I will
tap
not be stopped.
to play Holy Ground.
Oh, come on. That looks so good. Look at the double framing there.
I don't really want to say it, but you know, the Lord may or may not be with me, but it leans one direction. That assassin's a problem.
Yeah, you know, if it blocks, you know, of course you'll die.
We just don't let that happen.
Yeah.
You can also attack me.
That's, yeah.
It's one way.
I think he would still kill me in return, though, right?
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. But you know, on your way out, you would
Look at how beautiful this is.
sink one into me.
Look at how beautiful this is. Come on. It's like an upgraded Carcassonne visual with fighting. With incredible creatures.
You got one spell in your hand?
One spell. What are the chances, though? What you gonna do? It's like Nick was saying last night, you know, games are about putting out threats and seeing your enemies driven before you.
I'm going to move my Titan. And then I'm going to play an Ancient Dragon.
Oh, okay. He does have a 7 cost.
Airborne, range 1, and splash damage.
So range 1 is here?
No, it could attack here without moving.
Oh, that's normal range.
No, normally you have to move to attack. He can attack here and not move there.
But he's +1 range, isn't he?
I think that's what it means.
Oh, there's not like a range and then range +1 and then range +2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like they can attack the next side. That's how my archers were shooting it there. I had the double range because I had the location.
Oh,
The
okay.
extra range.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's essentially just...
Standard range +1, splash damage. Okay, so watch out. Okay.
And then I'll pass to you.
Okay.
See ya, Andre. Chris says, put a blue 4-inch door hinge in storage. Totally random. Love that dragon. I also love the dragon.
Okay, untap everything.
Buyer beware, I have dragons.
Not scared of dragons.
Can't drown a dragon, dude.
You can. There's a card that does it.
Actual dragon with 4 legs.
Not a wyvern.
No, really.
You can drown an airborne thing?
Yeah.
How does that even function?
Wrath of the Sea, that's what it did.
Oh yeah, it comes and it grabs them. But you don't have enough water for that to work.
Well, maybe.
You feel like I have way more resources than you?
No, I don't feel
Just
that
40% more. Putting that out there.
You ever feel like you're about to get dunked on?
I mean, come on, dude. Let's play.
You
Got riled up this weekend.
Can't block the serpent. You know, you're gonna fail there. Can't really block that either. So may as well take a shot at that one.
Dude, this is gonna be a bamboozler. Simon wants to know, so, should we play? If you answered yes to more than half the questions we posed earlier, yes. / features that we listed. Lewis saying, if you could only get one, would you buy a box or the pre-con starter set?
Sea Serpent gonna swing. I'm not gonna do it.
Don't know the answer to that, honestly.
I'm not gonna do it.
I would probably lean towards a booster box, but I'm also a little more chaotic like that. I think there's a lot of value in 4 pre-built decks, though.
When does this go away? +1? Oh, it's gone. Okay. 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 does get interesting. Okay. You dragons, you dragons, you dragons. Play it cool? I don't know. I think I like playing it a little cool here. I think I like that. We got the 3 there. You really can't deal with that guy.
Chris asking if the cards are numbered in any way. The rarity is in the subtype. So like in Ancient Dragon, it says an Elite Dragon, elite being the keyword there. It means you have 2 in the deck. It also is the, like a booster pack currently comes with 10 common, whatever the normal stuff. Then I think 4 exceptional, which are things you can have 3 of in your deck. And then it's got 1 either elite or unique. Elite you can run 2 of, unique you can run 1 of, but the uniques show up less often.
All right, let's swing at the Titan.
Counter.
Oh wait, you do counter. Hold on. It's not ashes. Not ashes. Not ashes.
Yeah. So the basic things are there. That is good for me if you decide to do it. Is you attack here for 5, then you attack for 2, and I block and kill, and you're out of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't do that.
So,
Swing 2 here, undefended.
yeah. Take 2.
Swing 2 here, undefended.
Take 2. Look at that go. There goes the health. It's just a resource, though, right?
Just a resource. There's play here, man. There's some play here. Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Okay, then you... Well, perhaps it's time to make that trade. That for that. That for that. Okay, Sea Serpent is going to attack. No. Yes. Sea Serpent, no. But we like it. Ugh. 5, I die. Swing, no. 2. Alright. Swing at the Titan.
Counter.
Swing there.
You've spent no resources this turn?
None.
Well, that just feels like a trick.
Sure does.
So I can counter, and we each lose our unit. I can block with the dragon. I lose nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you do something fanciful.
Who could imagine? 2 units on a single place.
Yeah, I don't like it. So I'm literally just going to counter with this.
Yeah.
It's the safer play.
A good trade. Then you're at 16. I'm going to tap to draw a sight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, let's ready. Now start a turn. I'll draw from my spellbook.
Wait, can submerged things move to other... They can stay submerged, right?
I think so.
That's right. So this frog is going to swim over here. And this frog is going to swim over here.
Look at him go under the water. It's beautiful. Don't you love it?
So lovely.
All right.
Don't forget, airborne can move diagonal. Can we pull up the airborne? You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm aware of that in a good way. All right. Ancient Dragon is going to move and attack your Snow Leopard.
Seems like a natural kind of how nature works situation.
Food chain, etc.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry for your loss.
Yep.
wish I could do something about that. Next, from my avatar, we're going to play Heat Ray. Choose a cardinal direction. Deal 2 splash damage in a line in any cardinal direction from my spellcaster. We're going to go this way. So 2 damage splash here, 2 splash damage here, 2 splash damage here.
All right, I'm going to play Dodge Roll.
What?
An ally in harm's way moves to an adjacent location.
Oh my goodness, this is silly.
And then I'll take 2 of the Avatar.
Yeah.
Avatar gets hit as well.
I didn't even know there were such things as dodge rolls.
Oh, you know, who could know?
I gotta think about this. Oh, no, that's interesting. I like that a lot. I'm going to tap my Avatar of Fire. I'm going to discard a Fire Sight.
Yeah.
I can move 1 step, and then I cast Firebolts for free. So I'm going to discard here.
What happens?
It becomes a void. So I think
Just dead?
I think you disappear into the
Oh,
void.
no way. I didn't know you could do that.
I think.
Or is it from hand? It's probably from hand.
Is that
yeah,
true?
I think Destroy is on board, probably.
Back it out.
Do we have a discard? Actually, let me look at the Nimbus Gen and see how that was worded.
What's it say?
Yeah, Nimbus Gen says discard a spell.
From hand.
It doesn't say from hand, but it has to be from hand.
That makes sense, because discard... I'll get into that. So you're tapped here.
Let's look up discard.
Yeah, Simon's saying from hand. Simon says, I mean.
Come on. Come on.
I was just built for the movies, you know?
Yeah, just discard it from hand, yeah.
Now, can your Midnight Rogue attack an airborne unit? It can't, right? It's on the ground?
No, it cannot.
Yeah, that's good. Well, let's tap and draw a sight. Okay. And then... let's play Dromedary.
Just a classic Dromedary.
I need something to ride into town on.
We
you know?
love it.
Well, this one hump, this is going to be uncomfortable.
Everything untaps. We got 2 Froggos.
Careful, those firebolts are coming in now.
Watch yourself. Watch yourself. We're going to draw from the old spell book.
Larrabee Dragons?
Okay.
That dodge roll was clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Probably looking at like, I don't know if this will ever be immediately useful. What your thing is too?
Yeah, go for it. Okay. So I can't attack the dragon. Is defending the site still? I think it's still defending the site. Airborne. Okay, so I can still attack the site. Okay. Reasonable. But it can be blocked. But nobody's going to lose their dragon. Zach's not going to lose his dragon that way. Come on. Come on. So we'll get a swing. Huh. He's got those big beefy boys.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta move the frog army over. But I've got to unsubmerge first. But if I'm here, okay, yeah, he could swing in on that undefended land. Oh, this dragon is a problem. Huh. And the fire bolts are coming. Oh, gosh. Zach got a card. He's going to draw something. Okay. How about the Ardent Heat Ray, though?
It's an easily.
So good. It's easily.
Yeah,
It's easily the best art I've seen.
it's straight out of D&D second edition.
Yes, it is. And it feels great. Okay. It's tough. That's tough. 3. Man, the game goes deep. Game goes deep. Crazy. Get that. Move that. Draw a sight. Really need to move. This game goes deep. Yeah, Norian, exactly that. Art is cool. I do like. Feel like this game would trigger nostalgia if I'd played Magic in the 90s or something. But Fab is my first game. I think that's a very reasonable take. I'm unwilling to just sacrifice myself to the dragon. But it's happening. Dang. Man, this airborne's killing me.
The RV dragons? At least you can block it.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything. What do you think? It might be like
Essentially personal.
I gotta get something on this board.
I would like reset your phone. That just seems like an app error.
All right, first things first, I'm gonna attack your site here, which apparently you can do.
Yeah, I'll take 2.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you're flying. Here's what
I mean,
it
you could
says.
just attack this site, right?
I want to be over there by the dragon. At least in this rule book, it says airborne. If a player has an airborne minion on a site that is being attacked by an opponent's minion, without range or airborne, they may tap their minion to block the attack, or let it go through onto the site.
Okay.
So that presumes that you can do it.
Apparently, Justin, there is supposed to be multiplayer support. It's a 6x6 grid.
Crazy.
But you can imagine, or 6x4 maybe? You probably have a player on each side. You see more.
6, 7, 8. All right, we're gonna play. Bears.
Polar bears?
Yeah. Here.
Mm-hmm. Coming in hot.
We're gonna unsubmerge here.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna unsubmerge here. We're gonna move here.
Your little protectors.
And then we're going to pass.
All right. Start my turn. Let's untap. Let's draw from the old spell book. Sometimes the right cards just show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not that crazy, but it's pretty good. I'm gonna tap here and draw a card.
Ye Old Atlas.
Yeah. Oh, don't you know? 1 card in hand. All right. Let's bury this guy.
Buried.
Burrow a minion or relic on a site without water.
Does he stay there or does he die
I
immediately?
think he dies.
I think he does.
If he doesn't have burrow.
Yeah, he's dead.
Cannot breathe.
Got buried. Come on in.
I'm gonna attack this site for 5.
Got it. You're a dangerous man.
Mm-hmm. And then I will pass to you.
All right. We're in the end game now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Chris, the top and bottom of the realm is this.
Draw a card.
Noreen says, can anyone else confirm that this seems like the right cards always just show up for Zach? Tim says, can confirm. They do. It's not true.
Well, I would, hasn't been the case in first game or the second game that we played, but
Apparently the thing can't survives, it just can't unburrow.
cool. But if I had a card that was like unearth or something, it could, of course, somehow still alive. Okay,
Like Palpatine.
still okay.
Somehow.
Frog's gonna move here. You can have it if you want it.
I love those frogs.
Yeah.
They'd be really good actually with Earth for every reason. Like the thing gives +1 power. Suddenly they are just dancing around.
Polar Bear is going to swing in here and attack your dromedary. 3-2.
You got it. Mike, yeah, you can summon to a site that you've played, but your opponent is the only one with minions on it. Ian says, also you can confirm, if you think, does Zach have card X? The answer is always yes.
It's so true.
What up? Wendell saying, never heard of this game before, but it looks real pretty. It is very pretty. If you literally just joined the stream, I imagine rolling back to the start of it would probably be helpful. Where this is the conclusion of the Introducing Sorcery TCG series we started a couple weeks ago. Definitely worth checking out.
Play the Polar Bears there.
Oh my goodness.
Unsubmerge here.
Doing some work, dude.
Move here.
He's got blockers.
Pass you.
Alright. Let's untap everything. Draw a card from the old spellbook.
He's got bears.
What? Hypothetical.
Yes.
Let's just say a site was rearranged.
Sure.
Would the things on that site move with the site?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Must.
I need to look at this card that I can cast that's not my deck. What?
Look at this. Look at this. Deep research.
It's the Firebolt.
Oh, right. We got one frog soak.
Sorta. A question. I'm just gonna read this Firebolts to you. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Looks great. Your spellcaster fires 3 bolts, each traveling in any cardinal direction. When they hit an enemy, they each deal 1 splash damage.
Uh-huh.
So, would they hit this guy?
Yeah.
Asking for
I think so. They fire him in a cardinal direction. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Does
because
it start
on you is
here?
not a cardinal direction. ultimately.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's,
Yeah, I don't know. Does it have a little dot on it somewhere?
because it's just the full cardinal direction. It goes until it runs out of places to go.
Great question. Don't know. Probably don't hit the bears. Probably don't hit the bears.
I might deal with them.
So like, let's look at like Frost Nova. Right, it's like Frost Nova looks like that when you cast it.
But like I had this thing earlier, Heat Ray, which does the same thing, but it doesn't affect the square you're in.
Yeah, it expressly doesn't. Yeah.
But like Firebolts doesn't really say.
It doesn't have the graph on it, at least.
Gary says starts adjacent to based on what I was told in the rules channel. Oh yeah, the ability does allow me to move too. So technically, if I wanted to, I could like move and cast it. But I don't know that I want to move.
Yeah,
If you catch my meaning.
I do. I do. So long, farewell.
I mean, you have to prove it. You gotta be able to block this dragon somehow. Right? I guess I have to attack the frog because it's there. I can't attack this thing.
That's correct. Yeah,
You can prove it.
I can prove it. You're going to be distracted by a frog.
I'm gonna get those bears if I get anything.
Yeah. But, yeah.
But yes. That is correct. Unless the frog was gone. There's a lot of ways to do this.
There's some ways.
Very cool. I need to get you on death's doorstep.
I need more drowns.
Like that. So close. Yeah, you do. I need more things that kill you. This is kind of a complex turn a little bit.
I love it. Bring it on.
Do that. And do that. Okay. I'm gonna play an Earthquake.
Earthquake.
Choose
What's that do?
a square block of 4 locations, of which at least one is Earth.
Okay.
Here's the block.
Okay.
Burrow all ground minions on affected sites without water.
Burrowed.
I may rearrange the placement of those sites within the block.
Cool.
Yeah. That's why I was asking if I moved with the location that I moved with.
Just a dragon and an avatar making problems.
I think it doesn't really matter. I almost did it here, so I could bury the frog. And then just punch the location. But I have other plans. I'm going to tap my avatar of fire. We're going to discard a fire site.
So no rearrange.
No rearrange.
Okay.
Discard a fire site. We're going to cast 3 1-damage bolts this way. When it hits something, it does 1 splash damage. So it's just going to be the frog and then 3 to your avatar.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. And then my ancient dragon is going to move and attack your bears.
Right on.
I learned my lesson last time.
Ancient Dragon's gonna attack my bears.
Yeah. Don't you love the sentence? End of the round. This goes on.
Yeah.
The lesson being, the tighter you grip, the more the game gets through your hands. So just don't lose.
Don't lose. It's that simple.
Galactus coming in with the heat. It's about time for that dragon to just sort of forget about the Iron Fleet. Yeah.
That's funny.
You know, who out there, if you had that idea, you should think about being a writer. There's a new Game of Thrones show coming out. A prequel. Or a sequel. I think it's prequel. I don't know if my heart can do it again. I love those little frogs.
Okay, let's think about this. Okay, and you can always just swing at the avatar too. That's the key to all of this. Okay. How are we going to do it? You got one Atlas card?
One Atlas card. Could be the old Death's Door Bolt.
Yeah, I don't think it is, though. I think you had to draw the last time to find it. Could be, could not be. Either way, I can't get away from it. You can always just move.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't matter. Okay. So if I draw sight, then if you have Firebolt, I need to be away from you, but also away from the Drago. Okay, so there's actually only one way to do that. Weirdly enough,
Process of elimination.
hope that you can't do that. No, because then you could just attack. I don't think there's an out.
Well, you got Death's Door too, right?
Well, no, even with. Yeah. Because if I go here, attack the site, Death's Door, swing with Avatar. If I go here, Firebolt Dragon. Here, Firebolt Dragon. Stay where I am, Firebolt Dragon.
Well, I can't kill you the turn I get you Death's Door.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah, once you get
Sorry.
a Death's Door, you're immune to damage for the rest of
Okay,
the
so
time.
you save.
That's what I'm saying. So you have technically an extra turn. It's hard to avoid me at this point.
Yeah, one turn saved. Airborne, come on. What is this?
I was struggling with that last time.
I'm gonna need to draw big.
You had the wind guys up top, and I had, like, no
I'm
way
gonna
to
need to
touch them.
draw big.
Play to your outs.
It's the only way.
Totally random. Surrender to the dragon. There is no escape.
Draw set.
They are coming.
They are coming.
They are coming.
Let's play a Midnight Rogue right here.
Uh-oh.
And then I will pass it to you.
All right. Let's untap.
Oh,
What's up?
sorry, a serious error has occurred.
Uh-oh. A serious error?
Black screen. Hopefully you can still hear our voices.
Yeah, Kimmel don't have a water site, so that's a downside of splashing.
Why can't I see the camera on the left but not the right?
Oh, weird. You should be able to see us.
People are saying it's nighttime.
How about that?
That's strange.
That works, right? Here we are. And we're back. Everything cool? Everything cool? Looks right, yeah? We're back?
They were behind a little bit. Someone said Midnight Rogue did the business.
It
They can see now.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me make sure.
I'm gonna draw for my spellbook.
It's weird that it would crash the entire stream.
I think it happened because it had a layer up.
Mm-hmm.
That layer had no feed.
So if my dragon attacks here, you can block with this, right?
No. Can't block for sites, only for minions.
Really?
Or avatars, yep.
That seems good.
Therein lies the pickle. Gotta block the slants as well, the diagonal. The frogs did their best, though.
They really did.
They really tried.
I mean, I suppose then, unless you have another fancy smancy card, which, you know, if you do, so be it. Ancient Dragon, gonna punch here.
You got it.
Knocking on death's door.
Knock, knock, knock. I'll even.
I'm gonna tap my avatar and draw a sight.
Right on.
And then
Don't get firebolted.
over to you.
Okay. And now sight damage doesn't kill me, right?
Right, I have to directly get to your avatar.
Okay.
You love to see it.
Mm.
On the verge of greatness?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's tap to play an Autumn River.
Mm-hmm.
Top card of the spell book here. Put that on the bottom and move to it. Courtesy of Wawa.
You get it running.
Yeah. Gotta be these days. Then I'll pay 2 for Kite Archer here. Range +2, 1 attack. And I'll swing here. I can do that. Can I attack adjacent or undefended with range, right? Weren't we doing that last game? Sending arrows over the top?
Yeah, for sure. But can you do that?
Oh, he can't. Come in. Turn he comes in. Yeah, he's summoned.
That's
he's
cool,
summoned
though.
sick.
I think that's awesome.
That guy's incredible. The
Yeah,
art,
he looks awesome.
art is so good on that. And then I'll pass you.
Alrighty, Roo. Untap. Draw a card. And another thing about range that's interesting is you can't move and attack ranged. So, like, he can't attack your avatar here.
Yes, which means this needs to move here. Otherwise, you just ranged attack there.
Can't you hit me back, though? Or you can't hit me back?
No, not in range.
Oh, I forgot about that. I thought you could
definitely
poke me.
not. Yeah,
That would have been...
that's why I kept getting the rogue on top of where you were.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been real.
Mm-hmm.
Let's... Well, you might have an answer to this. We'll see. I'm going to move my avatar here.
Yep.
And then we're just going to cast Fireball.
What's that do?
Your spellcaster launches a fireball that travels in a cardinal direction from your spellcaster. It explodes. It explodes when it hits an enemy. So here, and deals 5 to the middle. 2 here, and 1 here. Which I think is enough.
You choose the target. Is it splash damage?
It's splash damage.
Oh,
So it
my
just goes boom,
gosh.
boom, and it blows up on your Midnight Rogue. And then
Oh my!
kills the frog, kills the frog, kills the archer, kills the
It
avatar.
was a slaughter.
There will
Oh
be
look,
burns.
next round was Devil's Egg. Yeah, you're gonna have to have answers to big stuff.
So
I kept drawing like 1s and 2s at the end there, and it's just like, I need bigger stuff.
This actually, I didn't intend it, but it played out what I was talking about before the game, which is my opening, I mulliganed, and then I got a 4, 5, 7 or something. Like I had the dragon from turn 1.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't play anything for the first 3 or 4 turns. but I kind of made up for that fact because you just have the big beefy stuff at the end.
Well, it doesn't matter. So this is the grand conclusion here for me is like, you know, we got to a point in a lot of the early games where we run out of cards super quick. Because you feel like you're on curve and you need to be playing stuff every turn like a standard game. It's absolutely not the case at all.
Yeah, I think the 1 to 3 cost stuff only matters if it's like actually bringing value to you.
Or if you're looking to link up immediately and start wrecking undefended sites.
Totally.
That's the only time playing early things matters. Because like I played a mermaid down here that did nothing.
Yeah.
It drew me cards.
And then I killed you.
But
yeah,
unless it's going to like attack you next turn, it really doesn't matter to be on curve.
So I also had Heat Ray in my opening hand. And hit what I've...
I had Ice Lance like that whole game for nothing. If you block with a dragon on that exchange, I Ice Lance and all of it blows up.
Yeah, so I made a good choice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I had Heat Ray, so last time I played Fire, I really liked going forward first, and then kind of branching out from there. But that way I can kind of connect up. And the Firebolts too. Like I need the lanes.
Are sick. Now that you actually get to
see.
use that ability.
Yeah. So like building wide in the back, like water, I think can do that because you have the polar bears and stuff that hop over. And like you can attack, and it's a challenge, but your opponent also has to go sideways for that to matter. So that's where like that location that I ended up cutting feels like it could be really useful to you. This cornerstone can be played on a corner void. So like you could like play here. Even if I didn't, so that you can now you can connect to this thing because you control
Yeah,
it.
that's fascinating. You can tell there's ideas here.
Yeah, but that's how you like sneak your polar bears right through the void, which is really cool. But yes, I had Heat Ray and I had the big dragon, and it was like
it was a real fire festival.
Yeah,
pun not intended.
But it was literally in my mind it's link stuff up, and I know I'm on lower thresholds too because like dragon's only 2 on fire.
Isn't that crazy?
So it's like
even my big stuff's like 2. There's something like 1, 3 in here.
Yeah, I had a couple 3s and 4s that I didn't play, like in the stack of stuff that I'm not using. But anyways, I knew I had the dragon, which would be like very tough to deal with. Yeah. So I was immediately like going right at you, and it was just about let's just get to that dragon in play.
Yeah, I was needing to draw like I had Ice Lance, so I needed to draw Ice Lance Thunderbolt to kill the Drago.
Yeah,
that may have been my only out at that point.
Also,
so you gotta have stuff that kills big stuff.
Big airborne stuff.
Well, I wasted my drown too, so I could have held the drown.
Yeah.
Which at any point is great when you're on a water site.
You can drown an airborne thing.
I think so.
Straight up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I spin it on a wiener.
Yeah, and I think
submerge a minion on a water site.
I'm sure there are going to be strategies that take advantage of stuff. I think you have to have a lot of card draw for the cheap stuff to matter.
Is ordinary a 4? 4 drowns, man.
Yeah.
4 drowns.
Yeah, I think that's similar to my berry.
3 cost remove anything?
Yeah, berry is the same thing, right? Kind of.
We got to run 4 of those.
But berry doesn't work on water sites.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I think you can't bury someone in the water.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so looking at something like Wild Boars, right? It's like a 1 cost, 2 attack, 1 threshold.
It's a sealed unit.
But realistically, like, how much value is that bringing to the table?
I wonder if we will see swarm decks that draw a lot of cards and play a lot of 1s and 2s.
I totally. I mean, you can.
Can you imagine unleashing just boars and like leopards and stuff?
Dude, imagine if there was a card that was like, draw a card for like the name of a card like Wild Boars, and it's draw a card for each out and play. So you have 3 Wild Boars, you can draw 3.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that rewards having that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But even at the end, probably 2 turns ago, I drew and I got another camel. I had 7 resources to do, and it was like,
it's just bogus.
If this had just been anything good, it would be awesome.
Drawing 2 polar bears right at the end is like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's when I need those.
Yeah. So much to learn. I feel like every game I'm learning so much. This was really cool. The threshold stuff, and different resource types and different like mixing the 2 abilities and stuff is really cool.
There's a lot of potential here. Mike France is wonderful. It says, it's funny, this conversation mimics conversations of early Magic the Gathering. Big flyers win, gotta have removal. Yeah, I mean, it all circles the same drain in the end, all these TCGs.
Chris asking, how are the cards coming up before you even mention them? Is this Magic?
It is Magic.
This is our Bryce
Sorcery
1.0
TCG,
system.
Yeah.
Bryce is off in the background. He's listening to us. We have a delay on the camera. So I say Avatar of Fire. You can hear him if you really listen typing.
That's right.
And then the delay makes it so that about right when I'm about to say it, or a little before, or a little after, pops right there on the screen. It's a lot of work. Kudos to Bryce. We're working on an automated system. Then he can enter retirement.
Yeah, go do something else.
What do you think?
Man, it's so fun.
Yeah, immediately it's like I need to change my deck and play again.
Yeah, there's like things you got to do. Thunderbolt continues to go up in value.
Now, I will say, if you had card draw and or if you saved the cheaper stuff, you just don't play it early.
Yeah. You can start defending sites that they're trying to wreck.
Or like in this case, if you could play one here, one here, one here, me defending, like if you're really just trying to get me to death's door or something.
That's what I was trying to do early. Like I had the flood out, but you were able to see. And here's the thing: I've got a ton of airborne stuff. That's just what I really needed.
Oh, because your airborne can block my airborne.
Yeah.
So at least you can stop me from.
The Pixie is immune to the dragon. It's like
goodness.
And they're airborne as well. But any of these 2 or 3 swings airborne plus that Ice Lance would take care of it. So like it's not impossible at all. They're just all buried here.
Yeah.
Man, I want that pirate ship though. That pirate ship just like wrecking your desert. For 5, what's up?
I love the pirate.
I made a bad
3 for
trade
5
there
is
with the
great.
serpents and this stuff. I should have played cooler there. I got excited.
I want to show you this card before we get out of here. And for everyone watching, if you haven't already, check out the Kickstarter.
Check out our subscription too.
It's ending soon, and then
It's so good.
Check out the subscription. It's going to be a while before we charge anything for that, but that's a way to sign up and make sure. It's going to start with the second set, so not the set that's being kickstarted, not a reprint of that set. It's the second full-fledged set. It's going to have a card that's an exclusive alt art promo. It's going to come with each box in the subscription. You don't pay anything until 2 to 4 weeks before it releases, so it's a way to guarantee you get product. It's also a way for us to let the publisher know what the interest level is, so they know how much to print, which is super helpful for making this game happen. And the card I want to show you, hold on.
And while you're getting that, let me just explain. This is like the final of the Introducing series, so I'll explain exactly how all of this stuff works. And then, yes, this will be on the standard rotation in the stream. We're going to be playing. How can we not? How can we stop playing this game?
As is every game that we
every game we curate, support, it's on there. Okay, so Covenant subscriptions. We're thinking about rebranding it to a different name because there is always confusion about what a subscription actually
definitely
means.
not a Patreon.
It's not a Patreon thing. There's no monthly fee. There's no yearly fee. There's no sign-up fee. There's no cancellation fee. There's anything that is weird that you might imagine doesn't exist. So here's how it works. You go on to the Team Covenant website, teamcovenant.com. We still can't get covenant.com. We've been looking for over a decade, but the technology firm out of Austin who owns covenant.com is not willing to sell it. So for now,
we ended up there.
For now, we'll go to teamcovenant.com.
It will be mine.
On the homepage there, or in the header, you will see where you can get to Sorcery TCG. You can click the icon or click the words. You'll get there, and you will see at the top of the product catalog a Sorcery TCG booster box subscription icon. If you click that, you can read about how the subscription works. You can add to cart any number of boxes that you want in your subscription. So if you add 5 to your cart, that will be 5 booster boxes every time a new set releases that you're looking for. Then you check out. During checkout, we collect no money. We just collect your authorization to charge your card and a $0 kind of transaction that you will never see or have to deal with. So we store those details offsite on Stripe's big, fancy, very secure servers. We don't interact with that data in a way that it can be intercepted. So then it sits there, and then a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before, starting with the second set of the Sorcery TCG, second official set, not a revised first edition, not these cards that you're seeing here. It's not the first offering. So the second set, of which we've seen nothing from, we're going to charge all cards that have a subscription active probably about 2 to 3 to 4 weeks before that set's release date. All those are going to process. If your card fails, you'll get an email that says, hey, your payment has failed. You'll click a button where you have 72 hours to put a correct card in there. If you don't do that in 72 hours, your subscription is canceled. If you do it in 72 hours, your subscription maintains activity and you are on deck for the product. So then we'll get the booster boxes. Of course, we'll pack all of those booster boxes up. We'll send them out to you on a timeline that is trying to get them to you on release date, but never before. So if USPS says you are, let's say 3 days away, we're probably going to send it 2 days before release date to you. So like Maybe if things work really fast, it'll get to you right on release date, but mostly we just don't want to break release date, right? So we're very conservative on that. Still shipping faster than anyone else online, I'm sure, that you could buy it from. Most every retailer that we've seen is shipping after the release date has passed. So like if the release date's on a Friday, they'll start shipping their products Friday afternoon or Monday. So it's going to be the fastest way to get the boxes. We've got an MSRP, and we've also got an exclusive promo, as Zach said. One copy of that promo is going out with every single booster box sent through the sub. So if you have 5 booster boxes on your subscription, you'll get 5 promos. If you have 10, you'll get 10 promos. You can do that as long as you want. When you're done with it and you're like, I don't want to collect Sorcery anymore, you just cancel it, costs you nothing, and you don't receive any more products. So
Also,
I think
one
that's
thing
the
to be
thing.
aware of with subscriptions in general, if you get charged, there's no going back.
That's right.
So if you don't want something, pay attention to your subscriptions. Make sure you don't have active subscriptions for things you don't definitely want or can't afford. Because the way our systems work and all the processes, very difficult to go backwards, and it's just a lot of risk and cost for us as well.
You basically can't be saying to Eric, we're committing to X boxes based on your subscription numbers. Run a subscription and then have half of them cancel and want a refund. It's like, we built everything that we've been doing around this number and around all of you being active subscribers. So if you want to pull the plug after all of those commitments have been made on our end, we don't allow you to do that.
Yeah. Card I want to show you is called Midland Army. Cost 8.
Ugh.
8 attack. This army must be summoned to any of the 2 metal sites. It can carry out ranged attacks on enemies on any site in the realm.
Enemies, though, can't do sites.
Yeah. So it can, it can
What,
still
how
move
much
and
does it do?
attack.
8? Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But it can literally just bomb some.
That's an answer to your dragon right there.
That is an answer to the dragon right there. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Just thought it was crazy.
All right, last chance. Anybody have any questions about
Here
anything?
we are.
Sorcery, whether or not you should play, how the subscription works. I think a lot of questions we have seen recently are like, okay, there's a first edition of the first set on Kickstarter. What about non-Kickstarter version of the first set? We do think, from what Eric said in various interviews and whatnot, that there will be a non-first edition, second edition?
I think it'd be like revised or something like that is what they normally
Call it revised. So there will be first edition only to Kickstarter backers, and then revised edition of the first set, probably available after the Kickstarter for like maybe general retail or something. We don't know. But I can't imagine the Kickstarter is the only way to get the first set, but maybe it is. I mean, I would probably think to do it that way myself.
I think it is, because part of it is they're taking that number and they're hitting print as soon as possible so they can get it to backers as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And they don't, overprinting is like the worst thing that can happen to especially a younger new publisher who doesn't have a massive distribution network.
Yeah.
So they've stated like this is the printing of the first set, but that doesn't mean they won't print other versions of that set down the road, because it is important that you can imagine once the game's actually out, more people are going to learn about it, more people are going to play it.
And they're going to want to buy it.
You want them to be capable of getting in, but you also want to give some incentive to make sure people buy what they want to buy and tell you what they want to buy, and also not reward, but like it's cool that you got the first edition of the set because you were around since the Kickstarter back in 2022. In 20 years, when we're saying that, it's going to be like, that's pretty cool.
It's going to be awesome, won't it? Melissa got a great question. Had to practice in Fab. How'd the games go? Game went great. Zach wrecked me on that one. Fire was in full force today.
I got my revenge.
Can you combine as many elements as you can, or is there a hard limit? I think you combine as many as you want. All you're dealing with is threshold and sites.
I didn't know this, but I stumbled last week onto other avatars that they've revealed. One of them is
Dangerous
the
place to be.
Elementalist, which the ability is that it provides you one threshold for each element.
Crazy. Have you guys seen this Battle Seer, this Battle Mage or whatever? 5 attack avatar, 20 health.
Oh my god, dude, it's so cool.
And then every time you attack or you kill a minion, I think it's attack, you can play a site.
Yeah.
So you just go on a rampage.
But he doesn't have the tap.
You can only play sites by attacking or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Because, like, there's got to be because you can't attack your first turn. You just sit in the void forever.
I think you may be able to tap to play a site, but he can't tap to draw a site.
Can't tap to draw a site, yeah. Maybe he draws one when he attacks.
I think that may be what
That's probably it. So cool. Dieter, what is threshold? So if we pull up, let's pull up polar bears. Can you grab polar bears?
I'll answer Chris' question really quick. Is it strictly 2 players or multiplayer? I've been told there's supposed to be a multiplayer mode happening.
Yeah. And you know what? This is the kind of game players can figure that out. We can put our heads together on this.
Having 4 people at the table?
Yeah, you just start one on each axis.
So
I mean, it writes itself. Polar bears here. So, Doctor, check it out. Top left, you have the cost, which is 2, and then you have 2 upside down triangles. Those are the alchemical symbols for water. So that requires 2 water sites that you played before you can play polar bears.
I swear, there's more.
That's threshold.
I used to think it was like me and my lack of education. Like Steven would use words like, well, what's that mean? I just started asking one at some point. But then we're a decade in of me just being willing to ask what a word means.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad.
He's still slinging words out. I have no idea. What did you just say?
Alchemical? Like of alchemy. Like the study of,
if you had said it, what's the word for of alchemy?
Alchemical?
I don't know. I couldn't have told you.
Alchemical? Got it, yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Sorcery TCG here in the chat saying multiplayer mode is still in development, but that's about as official as it gets.
Nice.
Hey, Sorcery if you can answer it, do you have information on a second printing of the first set?
I don't know how it'll function.
I don't know if you've said anything about it, but people have a lot of questions about that.
Mr. M asking, will TC sell singles of Sorcery? So,
man, I don't think so. Maybe
it's possible. It's not going to happen in the Kickstarter set because Kickstarter is Kickstarter only. But of the future sets, it's not impossible.
I guess why not?
It just depends. Yeah, that's the question.
Why not?
We'll have the inventory to do it.
We'll open some boxes. We'll sell some singles. I think singles will be great in this game.
Christopher says, this game is so great. It's a combo of fab that is exactly what I'm looking for. Galactus, I hope they do what they did with Destiny. I said Arcane sets, but I think you mean the Saga sets.
Yeah.
Holy smokerinis. With this one, it'd be crazy. But, I'll talk to my ops guy, and we'll see what happens.
Can move to nearby sites. No way, Lord Mugen.
Nearby?
Can move to... No, I like that it can cross the threshold.
Nearby is airborne.
That's just airborne, yeah.
It's airborne on the ground.
Yeah, nobody needs that. Polar bears are hardly airborne on the ground.
They do slide
They're
around.
They're sneaking around in the Antarctic caps, and then
I like
they
the
come
idea
out
of them
from
sliding around the planet. The realm, as it were. Okay. Hey, last time, do check out the Kickstarter if you haven't seen it. Shout out to Eric and the entire team. This has been a total joy, and them getting us the updated decks. Both they sent originals and they updated them so we could get the new stuff. Incredible job! Just a huge shout out for taking the chance on this game. I think
it's not an easy decision.
A slower release schedule, all arts, kitchen table focused trading card game in 2022. Crazy. So I'm so happy that it is successful, and it's such a privilege to get to be here and to experience this game and to have everyone watching along, helping with the rules. Major shout out to Joe particularly comes to mind. I know Tape was around a lot answering questions, but everyone out there has been helping and participating and talking on the community. We're very excited about this one. So I can't wait to see where it finishes on the Kickstarter, how many boxes I end up ordering, and I can't wait to actually play it once it's coming out.
And lastly, to put the end on this sentence, Sorcery saying we are planning a revised edition via distributor/retail, but we're going to be very careful on numbers, etc., as you guys pointed out. So wonderful. Hey, thanks for joining us.
This is a very kind comment.
Yeah, we got it.
Justin says, I've never subscribed to a channel during the first video, but I'm glad I did. I was possibly too excited to see you guys had a live video going. Justin, welcome to the fold. So happy to have you here.
Yeah, go watch it. Go. You got a lot to catch up on. If you just got here, there's 2 previous videos and more to come. All right, I'm going to get out of here. See you, everybody. Subscribe to Sorcery. It's great. Take care.